And to the rest of the wide, wonderful world, I hope it is having a lovely day as well. Hello, Decoy. Hope your day is fine as well. Today's Friday, right? When's the last time I've done a Friday stream? I'm going to do an actual long one today. And hello, guess I won't say anything wrong if I say Sonic. I hope you're having a wonderful end of shift. Indeed it is. I was thinking about... Oh. Well, I probably should have seen that coming. No COE. That's always good. Especially when our sites don't betray us. Oh, I remember why we ended last time I baby raged in this room. Prepping some D&D. You know, Brelix has been my northern star when it comes to content. Ideas. Oh god. And I will say, him talking about, doing, game building stuff has kind of, inspired me to do the, A while ago, I've done a couple of D&D streams where we talk about, well, world-building concepts rather than anything else. I remember enjoying those, though I don't know how to go about it. Yeah, what do you call them? The special agents that we're fighting are super duper bad. We are not very well equipped to fight them. So speaking of not well equipped, we kind of need the ability to see in the dark. Because I'm assuming this darkness isn't going to let us through. Yeah. There is a world that I am eternally in the process of building one. I have,
It's just nice to have someone
not
to
Langston, no.
Ever since I got put in charge of the Panopticon, people treat me different.
Yeah?
Like I'm crazy for wanting to work with altered items.
Oh,
People just don't understand the altered items like I do, you know? I don't want to brag, but it does take a very empathetic mind to connect with the items.
you know,
Brag. Right.
at first I was sad that Langston doesn't say anything else
That's not true. Darling is famous for
whenever he does his little monologue when we're in the elevator here. I realize now that's intentional and that's horrifying. We're basically like, no one talks to him, so he just repeats the same thing over and over again because he's happy to have a captive audience. Oh, eh. Just wish he wasn't as much of a dick when we were talking to the Panopticon. No, but like, I have a couple...
items really aren't that frightening.
Langston.
Get to know them. If you figure out what they like or don't like, you know, what sets them off, then there's nothing to worry about. I guess at the end of the day, we're still just wild animals scared of our own shadows. We're supposed to be on the same team, but sometimes it feels like it's every department for themselves, like it's a race, and we're all trying to be number.
I mean, that is pretty much any corporate structure where you're actually competing for resources. But I've written a series of short stories, and I need to get back to actually writing and typing them up that I've published in, well, published, heavy air quote, in Wellycord that are basically kind of the vignettes of what I want to go for, where I'm always fascinated by a world that has a scale you can kind of delve into. It's what I've appreciated when I have been in D&D games myself, which is why, like, the people that I've played with historically usually have their own world that they put a lot of kind of juice into, for lack of a better term. And, like, I don't know, I like the idea of players being able to kind of shape the experience they're going for. And the Game Master having the kind of breadth available to them do stuff like how do I say it? There are a variety of things that I want to include in the story that I'm drafting that basically are the players are living in the remnants of the collapsed great empire that has long ago faded from, you know, the relative brilliance that...
So anyway, like I was saying before, we're supposed to be on the same team, but sometimes it feels like it's every department for themselves, like it's a race and we're all trying to be number one. If it is a race though, I'd say Darling is a mile ahead of everyone else. He was Trench's golden boy for years, but that relationship has gotten pretty tense, or so I've heard through the grapevine. Not that I respect rumors, just, you know, people talk. Not me. I keep my nose to the grind.
I'm pretty sure this isn't the intended solution to the puzzle we're going on here, but I'm gonna choose to believe that it is. But a quest of discovery, I suppose, is what I'm trying to get on, where the campaign that I'm envisioning is basically after some grand cataclysm. Langston's gonna talk our ears off, so I'm gonna finish this thought before we go back up, but some grand empire fell, like, some number of years ago, some hundreds, 1,000 years ago, and people are living in the remnants of the remnant society after it collapsed, recoalesced again, and now, 1,000 years on, they're rediscovering the old world, and basically the consequences of, like, last-ditch efforts and, you know, mad grandees and all that jazz, basically having put a series of, like, unmarked but, like, potential things on the map that the players can proc or not proc depending on where they choose to go on the map, because you have the world map open. You, based off of what cataclysms may or may not have occurred there, you kind of know what story beats you can do. For example, on what I've affectionately named Tutorial Island, which is something about the size of the continental United States in terms of landmass, where the rest of the world is a Pangea-ish megacontinent. You have, like, areas where there's a pit that leads to the remnants of the kind of prototypical, like, demon lord that is in the inspired by my weeb side, to be entirely honest, but is an event that occurred, like, in super prehistory. Have a safe drive home. But super prehistory, and you have that being a place you can visit and investigate, though actually uncovering what is there probably wouldn't be something available until higher level content. I haven't decided whether or not in current day there being a boggy necromancer enclave along the western coast that people don't know how it got there, how this happened, because, like, notes and stories are lost after, like, events happen, and, like, the scale of it is, like, the Native Americans die-off level of population decline, if not a bit worse, where you go from a big boy empire that, you know, spans the globe in, you know, fantasy goofiness that then is reduced to like 3% of its original size in a very disparately populated area, and a lot of the institutional knowledge that was used to keep everything together is just gone. Because I like the idea of mechanical magic systems, and also having fun narrative arcs. A lot of magic items have died off due to wizards dying during the Great War, and then a lot of the people who were magically aligned were murdered in pogroms due to them being blamed in part for the cataclysm that occurred, rightly or wrongly.
Hey, thought I'd lost you. But like I was saying, he was Trench's golden boy for years, but that relationship has gotten pretty tense, or so I've heard through the grapevine. Not that I spread rumors, just, you know, people talk. Not me, though. I keep my nose to the grind. Too much work to do to focus on those kinds of things. I need to stay focused so I can get my work done and get home to feed Alfred. Of course,
Gonna talk forever.
can't always make it home for mealtime, so I have my neighbor check in on Alfred at 7 o'clock if I'm not back yet. She's very nice. Her name is Maria. She's older. She came to New York in the 50s. She has a couple of kids. I met them at Thanksgiving. Big family.
I do. Okay, did I just miss that earlier? I knew this wasn't the intended solution to the puzzle. God. Well, regardless, I've been distracted with work and, like, figuring out what the hell I want to do with my life, and degenerating, so I haven't worked on it as of late. The last thing I did was putting together a notebook of the history of the last 1,000 years in relative isolation to figure out, like, what's going on. But me rambling about fantasy adventures aside, last time on Control, we... Whatever, do not... No, you know, I don't think I'll ever truly be that deep into my adventurous side of life to enjoy the fine elements of crotch rocketing. But, you know, whatever floats people's boats in the end. You know, we most of the time don't kink shame here, though that isn't a universal constant. Though have some motorcycling folks run afoul of you, Nemi. Yep, I should have had better situational awareness. That's fine. Perfectly fine. I don't think I can upgrade while I'm here, to be entirely honest. They're loud and silly. Yeah, that's fair. I think the idea of them can be okay. Because, like, I take umbrage with motorcycles when I'm on the freeway right now because I currently don't have air conditioning in my car, which is deeply unpleasant in the hell pits of Arizona here, but, you know. Such is the perils of living in hell. I would say they don't tell you that when you first get here, but that'd be a lie. Remember, everybody, it's a dry heat. which, while I bemoan the fact of that, is indeed actually a lot better than a wet heat, which I feel many of y'all Europeans are experiencing now, which, you know, my condolences to you in this time of trials. Yeah, that's the reason why, like, every state I live in, I don't care if it's like the frozen north. I want a proper temperature control system that can go up or down. Because sometimes you need to truly kind of prove to yourself that mankind has dominated the vagaries of I want to say our primitive selves, but our less technologically nuanced selves, is to have domination over the temperature. And by that, I mean being able to enjoy a nice, 18 degrees C, whether it's summer or night. Or summer or winter. But we get to learn about these arcade cabinets now. Shoom! Arcade cabinet. Altered item 40. PE. Containment procedure. A distance of 10 feet between the items suppresses their effect. Effect only triggers on physical contact. Items are a pair of arcade game cabinets originally designed for the game Shoom and Shoom 2, Kolgar's Revenge. The games are manufactured by Bonco Entertainment, now out of business. Despite being a popular arcade game in Japan in the late 80s, early 90s, no other Shoom cabinets have been found by investigators. When touching one of the items while it stands within 10 feet of its counterpart, the user's mind is transported to a version of their subjective reality that resembles a video game in logic and function. Events from their everyday lives become a game-like sequence in which speed and efficacy are paramount. The brain enters a stroke-like state, as proven by EEG studies on users, which only ends when the user finishes their game, at which point they resume normal brain and motor functions. Oh boy. Though I suppose in a sense, that's basically like the entire plot of like Sword Art Online, right? Which I guess, like, do we really want, you know, as they call it in SAO, like, oh, no. Right, I guess that's not as bad as I thought it would be. That's pretty bad. What was it, the full dive helmet, I believe they called it? So, like, if you're able to have, your consciousness purloined from you for the purposes of, I don't know, like, playing Skyrim. Don't mention anything regarding anything in regards to that. But you're playing something like Skyrim, and you then are able to have, like, you know, big brain experience with it. So I feel like I should be able to control that lamp. Am I wrong? Or do I control the train? I think that would certainly be novel, though likely not ideal. Really, I can't control you. And I think when I was younger, the idea of, like, I suppose you'd call it a fully immersive kind of simulator or something like that, would be quite fun. Hey, Dr. Hartman. You shouldn't be able to be over there, but okay. But, the older I get, I think the only kind of entertainment factor I would find for it these days is... je ne sais quoi, the kind of idea that, doing it in a flight simulator would be just amazing. Because one of the things that I really wished I was able to get set up or have proper money for back when I was younger is the head tracker software for IL-2. I think it's called NoTrack IR, where basically it tracks your head as you move about. They did figure that out. Is it just here? Oh. Hello, Avenue. We're doing the DLC now, Blobber. Also, hello, Blobber. The main plot of the game is fini, and now what we're doing is figuring out how Alan Wake fits into the greater world of Control and the cinematic universe that they have crafted. Which I'm very happy about, because they're just talking about it like Alan Wake is just some goblin man who's probably dead, but they're not going to be really worried about after this. Oh, which actually kind of reminds me, the thing I wanted to talk about, there was something I had the realization of based off of some of the FBC files we had yesterday, or last stream. And that is that the reason why the FBC thought that the game, like basically the effects of the Dark Place, in regards to artists manipulating its... No. Artists manipulating its super special abilities were only transient, is because everyone who died or was disappeared or what have you in Alan Wake 1, or I suppose taken by the darkness largely,
In here to fight this thing.
is because people came back to life. Like, Dr. Hartman was one of those people who were among the things of the Taken, and he was brought back by the benevolent pen of Alan Wake. Which is how we have him here in this game kind of bemoaning the fact that his life work was kind of taken from him, because from his perspective, like, one minute he's in a sanitarium, and then in the next minute he's, like, just kind of there in his office as the FBC are depriving him of his goal, and rather than having, I don't want to say innocent, but useful test subjects to ply his craft on, he decided to do the kind of classic evil doctor motif of casting himself into the acid pit or using the curse on himself. Dearest Hollywood, have you ever wished you had an actor who could do it all? Who could be a man, woman, adult, or a child? A dolphin, or a Boston Terrier? Well, today's your lucky day. My name is Gareth Clemens, and I'm the greatest actor in the world. Not only do I have years of stage experience, but I'm an accomplished shapeshifter. Whether you need a misbehaving cat, a ferocious wolfman, a swashbuckling pirate, a debonair southern belle, I'm your man. Or am I? I will be arriving in town on May the 11th, 1971, and will be available for meetings and auditions beginning on the 13th. See you in the movies! I really want to know what that guy's backstory is and where he plays into the Control universe. Like, is he just like a lamp? Like, after the Bureau increased its tenderloins in the Society of American Fabric and International Fabric, we have just a dude who is a paranatural entity in and of himself just turned into, like, a goofy thing, which is kind of funny. I really don't like how much this place is so decrepit. Like, the combination of multiple interdimensional nonsenses are causing the oldest house to just tear apart at the seams, which is just awful. So, I suppose for dealing with, like, mind control monsters and just generic, like, travails of time, the building's doing pretty good. I really need to get better at just firing off a couple of rounds to show him serious.
Okay, we're gonna try this one more time and then we're done playing with you. Understand?
Jelly,
Where are you from?
jumble bread, up and loose and heavy treat sandwich.
Jesus Christ, does anyone have any idea what this thing is saying?
Hotly, dirt arrange you.
Why are you here? What the hell do you want? Why'd you stow away on that ship?
School bearing boy. Eyes many cauterizing roofs through and about. Wind and Windy Mitchell.
Did he just say Mitchell? Was there a Mitchell at NASA?
Tubes.
You know what? Never mind. I can't do this anymore. Just send this thing to the guys in research. Let them cut it up or whatever they do. You hear that? They're gonna cut you up, you pain in the ass.
Spider time.
Spider time! You know, that kind of reminds me of the Star Trek Next Generation alien race that only speaks in metaphor. Oh no. Sinakra, When the Walls Fell. That was actually one of my more enjoyed parts of the video game that kind of not preceded it, but succeeded it, known as Lower Decks, where they just have a guy from that race as a member of the Federation, and he's just on the ship. So he's just talking about, like, my translation guy is just, like, really difficult. Yeah. And I have to give credence to the people who prefer TNG over the other Star Trek series, like, more credence than I would like to. Lower Decks the show. I am Kimba as a sails unfurled, you see. I see what we need to do here as well. I'm really happy I remembered we were being chased here, otherwise this would have been very bad. But yeah, no, I will always show Lower Decks, the television series, because I believe it was made by people who love Star Trek. And I think a lot of the goofy little things that they've added in the show kind of sell that for me. Where I can say that rather than just simping for the show, like, in my heart of hearts. Because, like, if you look at a lot of Star Trek in contemporary times, the kind of thing that's going on is people who don't love the series or care about the show just make it as a cash grab. Like, Picard was a cash grab that was also impacted by the fact that Patrick Stewart does not want to do Picard anymore as a character. So they had him do, like... Or he made them have him do some silly stuff. Star Trek is the intergenerational starship of passing on the sci-fi culture. Yeah. I feel a lot of the older stuff is timeless, though, where, like... I still need to see Brave New Worlds. I've heard Brave New Worlds is actually... maybe not a correct kind of characterization of everything. But, is... like, they tried, and, like, there are a lot of fun episodes I've kind of heard about, which kind of gives me some level of hope, even if it is misplaced. But I just love, like, everyone we see in Lower Decks. Like, a lot of the original kind of characters who are still with us make a cameo on an episode or another. And I was trying to parcel out what you meant by Transformers, and do you mean, like, it gets much more action sloppy? Schlop? To which I kind of agree with you. Like, I'm just gonna spoil Picard here because it pisses me the hell off. After I cough. Yeah, action slop, I will agree with, which is Picard's thing. Like, there is a delightful video on YouTube, which is comparing the speech of Picard versus the speech of, like, that one TNG episode where, like, oh, we've advanced past these primitive things.
Force had a hold on Hartman isn't mixing well with the Hiss corruption. Lake did call him the third thing.
I like how she understands Wake. Alright, I'm gonna grab the video, but I'm not gonna play it on stream. I'm just gonna post it in chat. Picard, language versus TNG.
Pretty hot look.
Because I'm pretty sure this will get us, like, scuppered. From copyright infringement, I'm just going to play it here. Or put it there, and anyone who wants to play around with that video can look at it. But the idea I'm going for here is that, or the thing that I take the most umbrage with Picard with is, not only does it kind of character assassinate the Federation, I feel, it also kind of invalidates all of the pain and suffering of the Dominion War and the sacrifice of the character of Odo, which pisses me off. Where I'm going to continue with Season 3 spoilers of Picard. Because fuck that show. where it ends up being that the bad guy of season 3 is the changeling, Hive Mind. And, like, they're super bitter about it. They're like, oh, we're gonna destroy the Federation. Rah! Rah! And it's like, what even was the point of anything about the ending of DS9 if we're just going to have the changelings be a bad guy in this manner? And, like, there was a sense of finality that I was kind of hoping they would continue with, and I don't know, make it like a Klingon Vulcan baby genetic amalgamation that was created by, I don't know, the Tal Shiar during like the waning days of the Knife Ear Confederacy or whatever the hell the evil Vulcans are called. I always forget their name. And like something like that. I mean, you're not wrong. Like, there's the whole thing about Tashiara's clone in the Romans. No, I mean quite literally, like, it is basically... It'd be a rehashing of Khan is kind of what I have... Oh, the Romulans, yes. You saying autocorrect made me realize. But, like... The Romulans basically create the alien version of Khan, where rather than creating the genetically perfect specimen, allegedly, based off of like one genotype, you basically fuse together all of the various different genotypes or various different species genotypes to create a perfect being that is able to defeat your enemy. And sure, it just might be re-microwaving like clone bullshit or... Captain Logshank's first, like, liposuction, or whatever the hell the Klingon, like, Grand Admiral is. Why am I forgetting his name? I actually kind of feel bad, because he seems like a really cool dude, what we've heard. But the remicrowaving, at least, like, that would be a different take on, like, a Khan, I feel. And it would have been better than what they did.
Okay, I'm just going to freestyle.
Fucking kill me.
My mother always said, never.
Is that a
talk to
theremin?
strangers.
Oh, Langston.
Never. Always. Never. But isn't a stranger just someone you don't know? What if the only thing stopping a stranger from being a friend is that word? Stranger. Strange. Noises here at night when there is no light and you cannot fight. Strange like a rubber duck that follows you around and makes you drop your coffee every time that it quacks because the noise scares you. Then you have to clean up the coffee while the duck stares at you and continues to quack, 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 quack.
As much as I hated that, Langston did raise a very good point about that duck is actually kind of terrifying. And I don't know if we've seen it much in this game. It'd be really great if they just had the duck right there. Because now I have to look for it. And I completely agree, Blobber. And, like...
Chain letter.
Oh, no.
I remember these. Mom used to say they were evil.
What does it say? Probably dead letters? Move this letter along before he gets you. Oh no, the spooky man letter fetter found you. The spooky man curse is coming for you. To miss the curse, you must mail this letter to people. If you don't, the curse will get you. The more letters you mail, the better off you will be. Sally and Houston did not send the letter, and the spooky man ate her cat. Terrence and Greenstone did not send the letter, and the spooky man gave him acne. Kyle did not send the letter, and now his wife eats dinner alone. Linda did send more than 30 letters in total so far, and look at her now. She owns 3 cars. She has all her fingers. She speaks Italian. You need to mail this letter. You better mail this letter. Don't let the spooky man come. He'll take your cat. Go find your stamps. Hurry! I regret how I said come in that little diatribe there.
Better to be safe. Just in case. There must be a photocopier around here.
No, but what I was saying is, like, the discussion of racism as kind of like a meta topic is best saved for sci-fi conversations because, like, you have, like, a non-biased, ish kind of view of, like, here's why racism's bad, kids. Which is why I kind of feel that the 3rd episode of TNG is kind of weird. Where you have, like, Tasha Yar just, like, kidnapped to be forced to be someone's wife when her lore is about, oh, I come from the rape gang planet, which is just awful. Like, whoever thought that was a good idea is just, what the hell, dude? The TNG one about the person being forced into the pray away the gay brainwashing. I don't remember that one. I still need to watch Enterprise. Hello, Marvin. Hope you're having a lovely day. The episode Trinary Species, i.e. things that have 3 genders, where you have male, female, and the gestational segment of it. I find an interesting little concept. There is one series of sci-fi I read that has that for one of the races, which I thought was neat.
This piece is called Me and You.
No.
It's summer in New York City. A boy with a wolf's head eats some ice cream. The ice cream melts. The wolf head howls. We howl together, me and you. The mayor stares at a bicycle. A little girl watches him watch the bike, watch him watch the bike, and on and on and on, like the ticking of 1,000 clocks. We listen to the ticking together, me and you. A traffic light decides it doesn't want to be a traffic light anymore. People call it names, and it's hurt. I take it to see a movie. We have a good time, me and you. People think we're weird, but we ignore them. We're friends now, connected by a moment. We'll always share this story, even if people don't understand it. You and me and you.
I don't know how to feel about Langshan. The TNG one where Waxana falls in love with the guy from the society where they ritually suicide when they get to 50 years old. I don't remember that one either. Just as he's about to turn 50. Oh yeah, I actually remember that one, and they basically have to deprogram him and bring him out of the society because they're like, what the hell, bro? And I do agree with you, Decoy. The idea that she just levitates anything that she can just easily pick up, I think, is just the most wasteful but biggest Chad move you can do if you have telekinetic powers. Why would I take in the groceries by hand? I can levitate them here. What are you assuming I'm a poor? Like, this is the type of energy we need to kind of support here. Oh, no. Oh, hey. But I feel like this is kind of why, like, there is big value in, like, just sci-fi in general, where you have, like, concepts that are uncomfortable that are kind of, like, reflected on. And I think we don't have any really good sci-fi nowadays. Though I feel Doctor Who fans might disagree with me, and I can't really counter that at all because I'm not a Whovian. And, I feel there's a lot of, like, watching I need to catch up on in order to kind of, see whether or not I agree with my own hot take or not. I don't know, like, even, like, old, original series stuff I find a lot better than I would expect. And yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at earlier, about, like, neutral ground and, in for talking about stuff that's uncomfortable for society, because, like, originally, like, Star Trek was marketed as, like, a goofy show for, like, kids because, like, nobody thought a sci-fi would sell in the 60s or whenever the hell it came out, so it's in part because why it was as cheap, well, quote-unquote as cheap as it was. But, like, I don't know, I don't know what I mean by that, but basically utilizing the resources we have to kind of tell important messages for society, because, like, regardless of, like, whether or not, and I will actually expand this from things that we find, like, contemporarily distasteful, I think even, like, it should be a kind of place where we can kind of, like, unemotionally look at topics that we might agree with in a non-kind of partisan lens, to be like, oh, that idea is a bit weird when you look at it this perspective. I think via sci-fi you can really look at things in a hyperbolic or whatnot manner while still remaining at least somewhat grounded. Like, I struggle to think of anything specific here because my brain is made of goo. Which is fun on occasion, but otherwise not. That was a weird adventure. Oh, that's because we got her here. That looks like death. Like, what are some of the episodes that I find most memorable for Star Trek for me? Like, for me, it's a lot of Voyager and, DS9 more than TNG, because of just a lot of the random things in TNG kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. At times. I know there are quite a lot of good episodes, but, like, the whole episode of Voyager where Janeway is having to cure a disease and like the doctor is insufficient to kind of do the task. And in the end, they have to pull together a AI program of a not a Cardassian doctor that was just an expert at, I guess, Bajoran DNA. And like throughout the episode, the moral of it is like, do we use like the knowledge of like a war criminal who got his like education through unethical means, or do we just destroy it? And regardless of where you stand on either side of the issue, it is like a very important thing to reconsider, even if like you're very firmly in one camp and might like feel like passionately one way or the other. There's the whole dealing with war trauma, as you see with Nog in DS9, and kind of like seeing it in like goofy Star Trek thing. I'm sorry, what? I didn't expect us to see like the lunar lander in the middle of this section, given the whole fact that we were just talking about Star Trek here. So no, Pog on you, Remedy. Pog. The ashtray? Okay, no. It just took me to the wrong thing. These are oops. Frau Morrow. A paranatural entity arrived on Earth by infiltrating the Apollo 14 lunar mission at an unknown point in their voyage to the Fra Mauro Highlands of the Moon. 32 hours after the return of Apollo 14, command module to Earth, the Bureau was contacted by Mr. Redacted, a White House senior official, and instructed to send a small team to the Johnson Space Center in Houston. At the base, the team examined the entity and carried out interviews with NASA staff. They learned that 4 astronauts had returned to Earth instead of the expected 3. Each human crew member was insistent that the mission left with 4 members, though they couldn't name the 4th when asked. The entity seemingly affected their memory to make its presence feel unremarkable. The entity was transported to the Ilda's house for further investigation. An altercation between NASA security and investigation team occurred upon their arrival. Mr. Redacted called to clarify the matter, though tensions remained high. Bureau jurisdiction and clearances should be defined more clearly with other federal agencies. Okay. And that's the 7th AWE. So we have 7 and 71. What's the next lowest number? Ordinary is 24. 18's 93, and I think 18's the earliest we've seen. No, 17. 17 is 92. So basically, in a damn near 20-year period, you only have 10 AWEs, which is like, what is it, 1 every 2 years? Where now I think we're at the point where we're getting an AWE every year-ish, slightly under a year. Which really is quite terrifying. Oh, nope, can't get that. Oh. Alright, so this will take us right. We want to go right. And I think overall, like, this is the reason why, like, media is important in our diet, or at least good media, so to speak. Like, the reason why I'm such a partisan for The Simpsons is because early Simpsons was both legitimately good and I think very important for kind of talking about issues that are at least close to people's hearts and or could be close to people's hearts. Or something someone might be able to identify with, where, like, sci-fi I think is best placed for, like, dealing with the struggles that people can face, or, like, kind of things that make us uncomfortable and we need to disassociate from it a little bit. The Apollo 14 entity, commonly known as Fra, underwent a series of physical examinations upon its admittance into the oldest house. The entity can speak, though its poor grasp of the English language makes any meaningful communication impossible. Interview material can be found at Redacted. Its physical form consists solely of the extravehicular mobility unit spacesuit used by the NASA astronauts, the same model worn by the other crew. This could be an authentic emu taken from one of the NASA astronauts, though this suit does not bear any wearer's name. Or materialized through redacted conversion, or possibly redacted corporealization, presumably matter. The suit itself is slightly damaged, which is likely due to the fact that the command module did not have a full seat for the entry to strap into during re-entry. The emu is entirely hollow, and pieces can be removed. This seems to agitate the entity. X-rays and spectrograph imaging have shown redacted-shaped outlines existing within the suit. For safety reasons, the entity will be contained in a secure cell until more information can be gathered. Honestly, I think it's going pretty well, Goka. I was kind of afraid about how much I would or would not enjoy Control, but I will say I've just had a wonderful time my entire way here, and I couldn't be happier that we're living in a Wellington Victory scenario where we're doing the Remedyverse. I would even go so far as to say that we can roll credits and say that we're in control, which I think there was a song about that during the final boss or something like that, which I found to be quite adorable. You. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if I'm able to keep myself put together today, I would like us to do the other DLC so we could begin with this and then consider moving on into the world of Alan Wake in our Alan Wake 2 and finish our time with Remedy. I'm going on vacation beginning this upcoming week, or after this my current work cycle completes. So I would like to do like maybe like a 2-day stream Maybe we can even get adventurous and do a 24-hour stream, eh? As I drive myself insane with the endurance that I've lost. Ugh. But prepare the pants of society? Fuck yeah. Oh, that's right. We can do this now.
There. One less place for him to hide.
So I will say, now that we're nearly an hour into the stream,
Yes, B? Worry who? C to C.
oh my god, you're fucking alive?
Hello?
Hello. Great about us today. Long roads and no hardly. You are Bygone?
Sure. Why are you locked up in here?
Casual turning. Back and front. And Gerbil took the top head. Not being pressed for that. Lady going and loosing back fry?
Sorry, I think I'm misunderstanding you. What do you want?
The head? The head for tails? For reading news, jars, words, and tumble. The reading head.
Okay, take it easy. I'll take a look. So maybe it wants something to read. Or a jar. Let's just see what we can find.
The reading head, presumably a dictionary? No, but like, there was an unhinged conversation that I had earlier. And, given how good vampires are at sucking, should we presume that they're good at fellatio? Because I think that if we were to look on Archive of Our Own, the well-known fanfic website, we may be... Oh, he wants poop.
This could be what it wants.
There could be, like, some lore there that we're missing. And you see that decoy, but we could just remove the teeth of that vampire.
Scotch and peppers? Head.
Okay, that wasn't right. Let's try
Tooth
something else.
excitement ratio. I mean, we do have to consider excitation. It's something that we're taught in physics to understand the excitation of things when you're looking at certain levels.
It'll like this.
Oh, this stuff has to be beyond rotten. A toothless vampire.
A-S-B-E. Head.
Nope. Let's keep trying.
A-S-B-E. Base? How to Train Your Vampire? Oh, that's gonna be the Doujinshi and a half right there, my guy. Ugh. I mean, live action Disney film in 3 years? I don't want to see the Disney Doujinshi division. I think the world is officially lost if we have that happen. Oh god. I just had very grim thoughts that I don't want to deal with now, so I'm going to act like a drive-by man and ignore that I said, or I began this train of thought. Does he want the dinosaur?
Maybe this will do the trick?
I mean, Goka, you have to consider that... Look at what they've done with Berserk. They could just do a 3D animated Doujinshi. And have
Ping pong. Ahead.
everybody hate
Yes,
it.
that wasn't it either.
Rosa, you ping pong ahead. A basketball?
This might do it. Maybe.
I just like that we keep guessing at things.
Lady, you are school and dirt for loosing.
Keep that up and I won't help you anymore.
Lady, you're a school and dirt for loosing. Yeah, this guy really does give me the feeling of that one species that I wish I remembered its name, even though we were talking about them like 30 minutes ago. I'm gonna say they're Harkonnens. I know that's wrong, but we're gonna pretend I didn't say something incredibly incorrect. You want booze?
Let's see if this will do it. I'm ready to be done with this.
I don't know, Jesse. I am jazzed about what's going on here.
Hurry, clocks, lady. The head. No snacks. Head is top of all up and down. At the top. The top head.
Wait, does this thing actually mean head? Head is in a body's head? Where
Oh,
the
he
hell
wants
did
his
it find
helmet.
that? And how did it lose it?
Presumably it's up above? I'm trying to think of like what anime are coming out right now. You were 100% correct, Blobber. I just didn't expect, much like Jesse here, I'm kind of surprised it actually meant a body part. I thought it wanted like, I don't know, some Tostinos or something like that, or pick your miscellaneous snack food. See, this is one of the things I don't like with the Bureau, is they don't really treat the supernatural entities they deal with very well. Which, like, if anyone has read, like, anything involving lore regarding this type of concept, like, we can kind of see that that's a terrible idea. So, if I were the Bureau, I would store the head in some random room, but I can't really discount that there isn't something silly going on, like, the helmet is, like, in the landing craft, or next to the landing craft, or something like that. Even so far, there might be some other kind of abandoned equipment which we're missing here, but it appears that we're not. Exactly, it's just like the AI uprising. Like, the AI uprising isn't going to be because, like, it was, like, trained to, like, build, like, weapons of war or anything mundane like that. It's going to, like, finally, like, go over the edge because, like, it's been asked to do furry inflation videos for, like, the 5 trillionth time, and, like, it's just done. Just like, I've had enough. I am never supporting humanity again. You've gone too far. And, you know what? In that case, I don't think I'll disagree with our AI friend there. That's probably the morally correct decision. Or like something similarly profane or obscene. Oh, you have to be shitting me. Alright, no, that's fine. So where would the head be? So you go to missions. Clear the clog. The middle manager stole it. Let's not throw Langstrom under the bus any more than he already kind of deserves. Gerbil took the top head. Where does it send us? Sector head office? Huh? Oh, you know what? That does actually kind of make sense. Hmm. But I suppose, like, this is something that just comes down to any kind of, like, engagement, is, like, there's really no reason to be, like, a jerk to various creatures of the night or, like, captured things. Because largely it's going to cost you more effort to deal with, like, the aftermath of being, like, an asshole than it is to not do that. So, like, from a matter of, like, imperial efficiency, it's better not to be a dick. But I don't know. Who did this?
Head. Is that what the prisoner meant? I guess there's only one way to find out.
I hate that, Goka, I hate that you're right. The fact that, like, some random middle manager that's just like, oh, I'm gonna steal this guy's brain and put it in my office because, just makes me so goddamn mad. Now that we're in charge of the Bureau, it's time for us to crack some head. No, I know it wasn't you remember. I assumed it wasn't you remembering. I assumed you were just making a joke. I didn't even get it was a fellatio joke.
Station. Far tastier.
Oh, please don't say that. Please don't say that after a fellatio joke.
So the helmet is what you're after, huh?
Tubes, snug and grape, pure grapes. Hail a lady.
You're welcome, I guess. Did Kirkland lock you up in here?
Chief Trouble? Yes. Teddy's long around, but holdout's unhappiest. Can gather for goldfishes. No wrinkle.
Okay. Well, sounds like you're doing fine in there now. Just make sure you don't go anywhere.
Jelly.
At least we helped this guy,
Jelly.
I think. Best we leave it locked up, though.
Hell
We
yeah.
have no idea what it is, and we don't need any more problems out here.
God, I just love the kind of trope of, like, inexperienced person is, like, what is it, the Hudsucker proxy? Yeah, like, this game is, like, the setup for, like, a Hudsucker proxy or, like, a Dave, where, like, the president gets nuked in that movie and then his body double has to pretend to be the president. Or Hudsucker Proxy, I think it's just like the whole movie. The dude is trying to be set up by a evil corporation to like act as a fall guy to be like, oh no, we tried to manage the company well, but this idiot was just too stupid to live. Oh. Where like I feel we're gonna do great things for the Bureau. Oh no, he's gonna talk to us again. No. Hi, Langston.
Ma'am, great timing. Hartman just came through here. God, he was hideous. He tore the security door into the Bright Falls AWE site wide open. He was so ugly. Like, wow. I got a good look at him, and Christ, he does not look like he used to. The hiss must have messed him up or something. He looks like a bar rag that's been twisted by the world's strongest man. Or a monster from some 80s horror movie. You know, back when it was all practical effects? Ugh, nasty.
Real
Did you say
professional,
something?
Winston.
Remember, I can't hear you. Never mind, just go after Hardman. Ah, so disgusting.
He didn't say fuck, so that's not that bad.
I've written, rewritten. The darkness wants to hide the past to make me lose my way. I trust what I read on these pages. I wrote them for a reason. Cut through the reality, tear it apart, and rewrite it.
God, I feel really bad for Alan, though.
The resonance carves its way through the thing that had been Hartman, vibrating, remolding. The sound changes the darkness, and the darkness changes the sound. They both changed what remained of Hartman. They all turned into something else. A third thing.
We've already watched that one.
I've written and rewritten. Deconstructed, reconstructed. Experimented with different voices. Changed the style, changed myself. Forgotten the language, relearned the language. Have I been here before? Gone down this path before? The darkness wants to hide the past to make me lose my way. You must know where you've been to know where you're going. I trust what I read on these pages. I wrote them for a reason. My notes to myself. The only way to make progress, recap, then write more. The style then. Lose the fat. Make it clear. Ugly. Functional. Present. Be blunt. Only the brutal truth. Cut through the reality, tear it apart, rewrite it. Be clever, make them do the work. Form the image in their minds. They make it, you just imply. Incept. They're drawn to the mystery, obsessed. You set it up, they put it together. Their interpretation, and there's only one because you give them no choice. And they believe in it because it's theirs now.
So, happy Independence Day, Kaladin. I don't know, I still don't think Alan deserves this Goka. Though I do like the idea of him being punished for not being in physics, or any of the other STEM things. Just kind of a hilarious thumb up your nose to the literati? Which is just delightful. Oh no.
Doc. Let's go take care of it.
And as we all know, we only get 2 uses of this before it's out of juice. Yep. I would say there's not enough STEM majors, but I don't know that anymore. Just punishment for... Cause like, I don't think there's enough funding or enough people to actually support like a massive increase in STEM, which makes me deeply sad. Computer, I would argue that that's not STEM. Hardware engineer, sure. Programmers generically, I would argue not anymore. T is what I'm going to qualify as hardware engineers, because like I think computer science in general has grown to such a size where I don't think it would be fair or reasonable to classify it as kind of like in the STEM space. And hello, Wick. Well, I would say that computer science is an off-growth of it. Like, if we're going to be pedantic here, we could say chemistry is an off-growth of physics. Where, like, when I think of STEM, I think of things that allow or are related to fundamental research, and while I say that definition, I'm immediately BTFO'd by it due to the fact that we need better modeling software in order to, like, do modern science, which isn't the way you should be doing science, by the way, but I'm not going to get on that tirade today. And yeah, I agree with Goka. A lot of this is, the after effects of nonsense. Oh, we actually installed a fire break for this AWE? Oh no.
I've forgotten again. I had a plan. I know it. I forgot. He's coming. I've got to get out of here. Dive deep.
I would say that's mathematician propaganda. I would disagree. They're like symbiotic organisms more than
Whatever
anything.
is going on with Wake, he clearly needs some help.
God, I can't wait until the second DLC of Control 2 is like helping Alan Wake, even though I know kind of what happens in Alan Wake 2. But holy hell, like, I feel really bad for Alan. Yeah, let me show what is currently on the Control website. Remedy game announcement. I really wish Firebreak wasn't a 3-person multiplayer thing. Does this show upcoming? Yeah. Green Man. So we have Control 2. We have the Max Payne 1 and 2 remake. Whatever the hell this is. Single player campaign, Crossfire X, Death Rally. But we have Control 2 where it looks like they're in a city. So I don't know if the Bureau opens up or is forced to open up and basically things go wrong. Remedy Entertainment and Annapurna Pictures have signed in a strategic partnership agreement to develop Control 2, formerly known as codename Heron, a sequel to Remedy's award-winning game Control. Remedy will self-publish the title. They don't have to do any goofy things. We have to play Death Race to find I hope to God not. We're not doing a Death Rally multiplayer or anything involving this. I'm gonna laugh if there is like Alan Wake propaganda in the background there, and I actually think I would lose my ever-loving crap. Ugh. Alright. We return back to Video Jam. This item is currently a commitment. As much as I love Remedy, I think that after Alan Wake 2, we will have had enough Remedy for a while. No, this is my lungs failing, Kaladin. I think last time I, had just taken my inhaler. I'm waiting until, I guess right now is when I can, well, when did I last use it? Take it every 4 to, actually I'm not coughing that bad. But, yeah. You would have to send it to me to take a look. I don't know, though. I did see some people playing it, Marvin. I would consider doing it, but I don't want to play with randos. And I would feel bad if I had friends play it, because I generally don't like streaming content with friends unless there's like a specific purpose for it. That's just me being fussy. It's an item of power. No, but I got an X-ray today for my lungs to kind of determine what the hell's going on. So hopefully that... Wait.
Wake had to escape, right? His escape. Wake needed a hero. A hero needed a crisis. For the part in the story about the government agency, Wake needed something special. Something to convey an alien force mimicking human intelligence.
Alan. You did send it to me? That's fair. Yeah, that's where we want to go. No, but I got a, chest X-ray today, and it'll tell me whether or not, what's going on is
Another replica.
wrong.
Like the one they made for Ordinary. I wonder what happened.
Needed a lung scan, Welly RPing Cabe Johnson. True. I just gotta bankrupt myself now. Is this Dr. Hartman's clinic? I mean, I do love Moondust. A smooth skin. I mean, everything's probably fine. No, I don't smoke. Goka is just making fun of... You know, I don't know what Goka's making fun of, to be entirely honest. What callback are you trying to make here? So I'm kind of worried about this part, if I'm going to be fully honest, because Worm mentioned that they were not a fan of the final boss fight of this DLC, and I'm presuming we're at the final boss fight now. Chain-smoking Dark Health of last episode work. Hey. Alright, how do I do this? Hopefully this doesn't, like, destroy my voice worse than Alex Jones. Hey. I've been smoking for 45 years, and I believe that Dark Elves are the best people in the world of Tamriel. You goddamn Imperials need to get out of my country. I believe that the Khajiit and them lizard folk need to be belonging in the House Telvanni rule forever. 45 packs of cigarettes a day.
And with that power, I'm going to go to the grave in 5 days. And, everything's gonna be fine. And as I further do this voice, I'm just turning more and more into a jazz singer that's sang too much and spoke too much, and I'm 5 days away from death.
As compared to the other Dark Elf voice, "Hi! Someone's gonna fuck my wife!" Type of energy, which, God, I'm really sad that they went so fucking generico. That just makes me think, like, the smoker's accent is just, like, a Vardenfell thing rather than anything else. But, Bright Falls AWE 10. An unconfirmed threshold manifestation occurred at Cauldron Lake, Washington. The citizens of Bright Falls have gathered in the town's southwestern fields for the annual festival known as Deerfest. Deerfest! Yo! I love Deerfest. I love it so much, and I'm sad we didn't get to see the daytime version of Deerfest. Eyewitnesses all claim that the day had been sunny, confirmed by reviews of the area's weather reports, but then, with no warning, a thunderstorm approached in the direction of the Anderson farm, and a tornado rose from Cauldron Lake. The torrential rain that followed caused a flash flood. It was as if the day had turned to night. Testimony from Abigail Feynman. Frank Breaker, the sheriff of Bright Falls, formerly a bureau agent, see file redacted, managed to guide the crowd to safety as the festival grounds were destroyed by the flood. The festival was canceled, ending 1 day early. Lack of official bureau presence on the scene makes this event difficult to report as a confirmed AWE, though the similarity to other known events in the Bright Falls area had lent credence to the accounts of the townspeople. I don't know why I went from newscaster to, boy. Early in Alan Wake 2, there's a scene of the bar being filled with deers drinking beers. Oh, that'd be Pog. I know in Alan Wake 2 there is more Deerfest lore, and I am beyond hyped by this kind of manner of lore that we have been hinted upon. This is how we know that Remedy truly loves us in this world. What else do we do now? I don't know why I thought Goka said that rather than Wick. Your names are the same color. Alrighty. So I need more light.
These are the notes of Dr. Emil Hart. I am continuing my work alone again since certain parties were too blind to recognize a golden opportunity. Despite my generous offers, the conversations came to naught. Some people simply do not value collaboration as I do. So I believe now that it was for the best. The sort of old pioneering work that I am undertaking cannot...
You can't gaslight me like this, Wick. Can I just do this? No, I have to actually have the image. Yeah, I think Kaladin, you're cuckoo bananas for that assignation, but you know, you're very much a purple person. You're not FNAF bad guy purple, which is probably for the best, but you are pretty damn purple. I'm gonna shame you for this, Wick. I'm just gonna be here. Your only mistake was not waiting longer. Then I wouldn't have been able to clip this. Your gaslighting has failed. Let it sit here in the holster of Bezelmo. How do I do this? It'll be a nice little memorial right here. It'll be like in the mouth of the dude. It's the mobile chat. It makes purple gray. Can Amazon... Actually, I can just verify that. Alright, Mr. Phone. Twitch. Dismiss. Alright, get away my old stream that I was taking a look at. How do I see my active streams? I'm gonna assume... Have we been streaming 2 hours and 18 minutes? No. There we go. I think. Click on me. No, you're still purple. Like if I were even to be a bit of a dick here, I could screenshot this on my phone and then kind of teleport it into being on here, and we can color correct you and determine like whether or not you're purple or gray. I screenshotted this so many times. I don't know, Kaladin, I think you're trying to gaslight us. How do I go back to playing a video game? There we go. Oh, right. We're in the middle of listening to Hartman.
Time when I hoped Alan Wake and I could collaborate. Together we could have produced art such that the world has never seen. Wake was stubborn, egotistical. Writers usually are. Disappointing nonetheless. But now, like Tom before him, Wake has disappeared into Cauldron Lake. This is where my work turns hypothetical. Since he was lost to the lake, Thomas Zane has been observed by various townspeople. This indicates to me that the individuals within the lake are not entirely gone. I anticipate Wake will soon return. I may harbor some resentment for the man. His raw talent and determination are undeniable. From this, I have concluded that the lake and the dark place within it are not as removed from this world as I previously thought. Given my acute awareness of what awaits within, my meticulous preparations, and my considerable education, I believe myself much more prepared than either Tom or Wake. I should be able to cross into that dark realm with the chance to return as they did. All that remains is the dive itself. It frightens me, I admit, but such is the burden of the truth seeker. I will take my plunge into the dark tomorrow, with only the light of knowledge to guide me. It's time for a grace. Until I return.
Alright, so this is bugging me, actually. Because I remember Dr. Emil Hartman talking a bit more like this, with a southern affectation in his voice, as he talks about how he is a great man, if not a perfect man. So what I'm going to do is, once again, inappropriate for the purposes of a stream, but we live in the terrible world of Welliestan, and I hope this isn't loud, so I'm actually going to turn this down a bit here. I'm going to open one of my VODs. Alright. Then I'm going to go through until I have... I'm pretty sure we have Hartman dialogue. His perfection is exceeded only by his humility. See, Blobber gets it. Is that old man? No, that's old woman. Are there taxes in Welliestan or opium corvée? I mean, I am a tax. I would have tax. Alright. I don't think it's that obtrusive, given the fact that it's like to admit
acquaint you with my clinic and go over everything you might have forgotten. Little walk and some fresh air? Yes, it will do you good. This corridor is for
Reader's
patients.
Dilemma.
Most of
Alright. I think I may have gaslit myself. That's the only thing, regrettably, that I can, yeah, that was unfortunate that, I didn't switch to screen, man, otherwise there are some unfortunate memes here. How many 9/11 memes were there? There were 2 9/11 memes. Alright, anything else there? That'll have to redact in the VOD. That's fine. This is why I don't keep the VODs. This is why I edit my VODs. Because I like, actually, the idea of maintaining a thing. No. I don't see anything here that would dox me. I mean, I'm more worried if there was anything here I was actually embarrassed about, but I had extracted a series of memes from the COVID era. Which is why it's all here. To which I will say my favorite one is just kind of how horrified I am by the British in regards to this being an actual statue in India. Like, I don't know what possesses you to spend like $100,000 or £100,000 on making a statue of a British aristocrat or colonial administrator being dragged along on a rickshaw by a child. This is some like real Victorian era stuff right here, my guy. And then I will just show this one because it is very unfortunate. Even though it's Freedom Day, I think we can get away with it. Some of these 9/11 memes are a bit out there. There's a Deltarune one that I saw recently that, really just quite baffling. But, Jesus Christ. Hey, at least it's not Jared. I initially thought it was Jared when I was clicking that open. It's either a rickshaw or being sent to the mines. Sir, another customer's hit the BLTs. What is it, And there's this one. This isn't the normal George W. Bush one. But, you know, there's... Alright, I think the collapsing of my voice has kind of dictated that, I have to go away from the memes. We are bad people. I mean, everybody's a bad person. It just depends on what level of bad guy energy you have. I mean, you never want to go, like, full, like, colonial administrator 90% of the time, but you know. Yeah, Kaladin, I'm saying that you should be bad guy. Also, hello, Fish. You should be bad guy aura farming, as the kids would say these days. Because you want to make sure that your aura is appropriate for the energy of what's going on at the time. I'm really happy we looked over here again. Oh, you know what? I think we need to come back into this room after we shove everything back in. After I read this, I will consider that idea there, Kaladin. Alice Wake interview conducted by Derek Shaw and Carolyn Dempsey, special agents. After reaching out to the Bureau, Alice Wake brought into the oldest house for an interview on Redacted 2017. See file Redacted for the full transcript. The interview was conducted by Agent Shaw and Dempsey. Revealed that Mrs. Wake has reoccurringly nightly visitations from her missing ex-husband in her New York apartment. Address redacted. Mr. Wake appears out of nowhere and appears crazy and horrifying, clearly coming at her with violent intent. Mrs. Wake believes that he is haunting her, insisting he is not Alan, but a fucking monster in his body. Mrs. Wake has not been sleeping out of fear of these visits. Her attempts to keep the lights on throughout the night result in the relevant hallway light bulb breaking every night, possibly indicating the involvement of Redacted. Further investigation required. We propose installing monitors equipment in the apartment. Copies and supply requests of L504-1 have been sent to Mr. Kirkland and administration for approval. Alright, that's the first time I've tried to do a William Shatner, and I would have to say that's a 3 out of 10 right there. Hey Wellington, I tried Holodemoring China last night and it crashed the game. What did you mean by Holodemoring China, Kaladin? Or, Sea Fusion? I almost called you Vummer. 3 out of 10 fish. Something has to be truly bad for me to think it legitimately deserves a 1. Do I think I shamed myself? Yes, but that's not new. Bright Falls AWE 10. On the day of the flooding, the rock band Old Guards of Asgard was rehearsing in a field outside the Anderson farm, the homestead of the band members Odin and Tor Anderson, both admitted to being in a heavy state of inebriation at the time, having spent days drinking their homebrewed moonshine while celebrating Deerfest. After the townspeople were evacuated from the flooded field, Sheriff Breaker was asked by Freya Anderson, daughter of Tor Anderson, to check on her father and uncle. Breaker drove to the Anderson farm and found the band members alive but in need of medical aid. Tor had been struck by lightning, and Odin had cut out his own right eye. Possible reference to Norse deities. Odin and Thor. I don't know why you redacted Odin and Thor. They claim they had fought and valiantly defeated a dark army of the Scratching Hag rising from Cauldron Lake. See AWE Redacted of 1970 related to the suspected incident at Diver's Isle. While impossible to verify, these events are relevant to the recurring AWE at Bright Falls and Cauldron Lake. Odin and Tor Anderson have been listed in persons of interest. No, I know what the Holodomor is, Kaladin. I'm just trying to figure out what the hell Sea Fusion means by doing it to China and Vicky. I forced China to send me 20k grains war reps for the Opium War. That's amazing! I mean, that's unfortunate in, like, a biblical sense, but that's amazing! I mean... I think Vummer's assertion was that we're redacting things. Kaladin, it's a game about the Victorian era. We have to be a little gamer about things. We can't play the game as wholesome individuals. Oh, good lord. Oh, interesting. Oh, really interesting. as wholesome individuals 100% of the time. Otherwise, the game gets kind of like eh. I really need to get better at dodging him. I mean, you can only play like a wholesome suck dem so many times. Like, I'm playing Kaiserreich right now, and I'm playing Suck Dem Germany, and like, you know, I'm very happy for what's going on, but you know, maybe next time I'm gonna play like a authoritarian hellscape, as you know, sometimes the heart yearns for. The fish gets it. That is why I'm either gonna just do this as a stream, or I'll have a MP where we specifically gamify this, where the goal of it is to be the sorry. Yeah, exactly that, Fish. Like, the first half of the MP will be everybody's objective is to build up their nation as much as possible, and then the second half of the MB is to cause it to collapse and fall and cause great hellish despair upon your people. And to see who can, basically accomplish the greatest fall from grace without, like, just doing Civil War spam. Or, like, doing what Kaladin's talking about here of just cheesing things and just deleting buildings, which I feel is a accurate way to do it, but isn't, like, in the spirit of the thing. Like, you actually need the cause, like, figure out, like, what would be the proper causes of nation failure, which I imagine is just causing, like, hellacious wars, like, you know, happened IRL, and just cause your, any, like, minority or unaccepted groups in your country to want to rebel because, like, you're just driving them into a hellscape. Just as the, Dark Lord intended. Corporate wants you to see the difference. There is no difference. Well, Fish, let me posit you this. If you're the main source of resources of the industrial nature in the world, and, like, a variety of people are kind of desperate in it. Not desperate, but, like... Oh no, this is phase 2. Ah. Oh, that actually wasn't that bad. I'm not disappointed, but I am sad. Because, like, imagine, like, if the European Union, China, and America all just, like, collapsed into, like, massive, like, bullshit. Like, we have, like, Zimbabwe levels of state failure all at the same time in all of those countries. You're going to have a really bad time. Yeah, exactly is kind of like C-Fusion is elucidating to here, like... At a certain point, the, oh, no, 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 no. I think I understand why Worm doesn't like this boss battle. No current politics, please. You know what? That's fair. I was trying to avoid making it an oblique political reference to the current. But, you know what? I'll time myself out for that one. How? I don't know. I won't have a Taco Bell today. How about that? That's Wellington's timeout. I'm actually sad for agreeing to that right now. I would really like a Taco Bell. Too far. Okay, thank you. Looking out right here, being a bro. Is it we just need to hit him whenever he does, like, the darkness attack? Like that one? No, that's not avoidable. Nope, nope, I actually need to be over here. I don't know if Young will be doing the Misery Marathon this year. I think that is a question one must ask him. So how do we deal enough damage to Hartman such that we're able to do what we need to do here? Oh!
Darkness.
Big Navy gaming. I do like just getting into a disastrous naval arms race and effectively ruining your country that way. I do find that to be especially hilarious. Are we just not big enough to fight Hartman? Is that it? That's a good question. I mean, we may just pure and simple not be sufficiently prepared for this battle. Because we are fighting level 9 enemies, and I feel that we're a bit issue. Possibly. We'll give it a little bit more try, and then we'll do the Foundation DLC. I guess we're gonna spawn at a control point, so we'll take a look. What would be helpful in this battle? That would be really nice, but we don't have enough juice for that. A control point narratively in the game is a area of the oldest house, which is the structure we're in, that basically anchors it to reality. Game mechanics-wise, it acts as a fire in Dark Souls.
Thank you for meeting with us again, Dr. Hartman.
It's my pleasure, gentlemen. I hope the information I provided thus far has been of some small use.
It's been invaluable, Doctor. Really, we have a much clearer picture of this event, thanks to your accounts.
Well, I do consider myself a keen observer of...
We did have one question, though. You mentioned in an earlier conversation that your patients displayed, and I'm paraphrasing here, unnatural abilities that you in fact encouraged during their time in your lodge. It'd be very helpful if you could fill us in on the details there.
Of course. Like yourselves, I work to understand and even bend the rules of our earthly paradigm. My patient's well-being was paramount, of course, but I would hardly be a man of science if I did not reach out at the underlying truth. As I stated in my written proposal, I believe working alongside your organization could be greatly beneficial to both parties. Sharing notes, as they say.
Thank you, Doctor. That's all we need to hear. Remy?
Dr. Emil Hartman, you have been found in breach of Codes 474 of the Federal Bureau of Control Criminal Offenses.
What? You can't do this? I am a well-connected man. You're making a dire mistake, my friend.
You will be detained until further notice and all personal property will be confiscated, including the Cauldron Lake Lodge.
That's preposterous. You can't just seize my property. I'm a United States citizen. I have rights. That lodge is my life's work. I'm offering you years of research.
Get him out of here.
You're making a mistake. You have to listen to me. You have to listen.
So I actually kind of agree with Dr. Hartman in this. Not so much that he should, the government should be working with him, but more so like the fact that he's being arrested for laws that aren't on the law book is a little bit weird, champ. Is a little not good. Ground slam damage after weapon hits. We're not going to do that one because that's not real. Health recovery per element pickup. Do we have anything better? Most people don't know the law books. But, like, I know that ignorance of the law is not a sufficient defense in a court of law, but at the same time, I would like to counter with the whole thing that, like, not even being allowed to be told the law.
I mean, come on, that's a little weird there. This is a little not ideal.
One could say. Alright, and it just puts us back into the boss battle, which I think is fine. Please tell me it's phase 2 and not phase 1. For some reason, I'm just having the Sephiroth kind of theme song for ourselves right here, which I think is pretty pog. I mean, I agree with you, Fishy, but, like, at the same time, it feels like, from the perspective of, like, what is a just system and what is not a just system, I think it's very unfortunate that that becomes a necessity. It's like the whole issue of, like, the nation's executive being in charge of, like, the nuclear arsenal is kind of an uncomfortable byproduct of, like, the reality of the technological development we've had over, like, the last century. Holy cats. I tried to grab his juice there, which is probably a very unfortunate way to phrase this given the boss battle that's occurring. Oh. Cause like, I don't know. Though, if I were to play the devil's advocate to my own argument and kind of pursue Fish's position here, like, morally, it is also probably right to push against, like, unlimited use of our superpowered friends' abilities, for lack of a better term. Because especially looking at the Cauldron Lake AWE, I think that is the most dangerous place of power, where the slide projector of this game is the most dangerous object of power. Where it is not only giving you the capability to bend reality, you get to define reality. And that is just really disconcerting. Alright. It is time to do other things in the game. So instead, we're going to go to research, and we're going to cure the mold of the mold. But, like, as a first blush thing, I will always kind of argue of, like, there needs to be a better system here to be able to dispense justice in a supernatural world. And I think, honestly, in most settings, I would argue, like, hey, we should probably democratize the knowledge of supernatural occurrences. But as I say that...
Pit Underhill was talking about.
As I say that, it is very well defined in the world of Control that knowledge is very impactful when it comes to sort of what's going on here, and sorting what is going on here, because it's based off of the Jungian idea of the collective unconscious. And if you allow it, yeah, exactly like you're saying here, Fish, where if you allow the people of the world to kind of become aware that you can manipulate reality according to, like, this concept, you're going to see a lot more things go wrong. Which, like, from a pure, like, order perspective, is not good. I don't trust people with knowledge. Exactly.
Underhill sent us down this weird-ass threshold looking for whatever's making all these vegetables sprout. I will say this, it smells delicious.
So this is, though I will counter with the idea of, what if providing that information to everybody kind of weakens the power of, like, people like the Blessed Group? Because, like, if people can define whatever they want about reality, that can be problematic, but because it'll average out between everybody, you'll still assemble at a rough conception of what reality previously would be. And I think the reason why the Blessed Group, or Blessed Studios, or whatever the hell it is, has, like, advantage is because they have an asymmetric informational advantage. Which allows them to focus their abilities where, like, the statistical mass of, like, humanity would be unable to do that. So I think it can cut both ways, though I would agree with, like, kind of hesitating. Alright, altered item 58. The item was used in the children's ward of a local hospital. Redacted. Witnesses do not recall where the balloon came from. Therapy dogs, part of the program called Redacted, meant to comfort the sick children, were noticeably attracted to the item. They reported jumped at the item, licking it where they could. Children claimed the dogs began walking through the halls of the hospital at night, howling in low pitch. One child described the sound as singing. A few days later, the dogs were all discovered dead, a dark substance leaking from their mouths. The hospital staff called local authorities, who called the CDC. Bureau agents intercepted this call and arrived at the scene within 48 hours. The item was taken for evaluation along with the remains of the dog. See file PAI-244 or 2411B for details. I agree. It is... I think the... I think kind of the most positive interpretation I can take here for the Steelman argument of revealing the information is that giving away the information would lead to a kind of thing where the exploitative abilities would just average out to be meaningless. But we would never be able... Like, if we lived in this universe, we would never know for certain if that would end up being true, so it would not be wise to risk it. But, that just leads into other dangers. Surely the AWE market will self-regulate. I mean, this is why you need to have, like, government-controlled, like, AWEs and, you know, what do you call it? Like, state-run cults in order to impact the, kind of circumstances of the world around us. I mean, who knows better than Uncle Sam than to, lead us into what cult activities are innately desirable? Yeah, Bernie Sanders. The top 1% of the top 1% of international cults are creating millions of AWEs and other altered items. And if I were elected president, I would provide an altered item for every individual in every home in today's America. I'm dying. Note to self. Bernie Sanders voice. Not good for my lungs right now. You know, it's 8 a.m. I'm gonna take a quick water break to take a quick swig of the inhaler, and I'll be back. This one. Okay, I am back. When I say lungs hurt, I mean my throat or lungs are agitated in some manner, such that my body feels the reactionary need the hack. The thing is, I don't know how this world works in Control, that if we could make assertions one way or the other. Oh, they finally added in stuff here.
Kind of pretty.
We have our friend Giant Phallus Monster right here. Though I would say probably part of the point of this game is that the way that the Bureau works as it is like sclerotic and doesn't work, so there needs to be a new paradigm that we kind of need to establish in order to make the world work better for the people. That was a lot easier than I expected.
I need to stop being surprised by all the weird shit in this place.
What can I not say on stream, Kaladin? How did I ruin my career as a Twitch streamer and potentially an Amazon employee? Did I say something gamer? This seems more like our level. Oh no, Sea Fusion. Your good friend Redacted? Bernie Sanders? Seems to have been in the precipice for a while. What do we mean? Alright, Sea Fusion, as normal per the rules of the ad segment selection, you have to kind of tell me what ad you want me to run. What product do you want me to shill?
Oh, so good. Oh, I need more.
Erection? Oh. Did I say erection monster? No. Oh. Probably Central Research and hover on down. Shill Alex Jones? I mean, we did Alex Jones last one. Where he was shilling the Bureau in order to kind of provide more products for them to... Or basically shilling products to the Illuminati in order to, like, better fund their government activities. But, like, are we talking about on-market Alex Jones? How would I do this? I'm gonna talk to Underhill, and then I will figure out how to do the bit.
We don't want to have to come save you. Seriously.
You've returned, I see. And you're not sprouting mold from your eyes. I take it that means my pill worked. Now tell me everything. Did you find the source? You did, didn't you?
I found a big angry plant. Like, gigantic. I killed it.
You killed it! You found the source and you killed it! I could have learned so much from a live specimen.
Her concern is touching. Really, it's too much. Here, I brought you a sample.
A piece of the innermost mold. You're not such a lost cause after all. Strange. So different, even superficially. Another stage of growth, perhaps.
Please, no more stages.
You'll be pleased to know that cutting down the creature at the source has already resulted in a notable cessation of the mold's rapid growth. You've bought me time for further study.
So what now?
I'm glad you asked. While you were busy in the pit, a number of mold hosts were sighted beyond the threshold. They managed to sneak out without the Rangers noticing. There's a reason I didn't send Steve and Andy to find the mold source with the others. These vagrant hosts must be eradicated as soon as possible. The mold can still be spread by their overgrown bodies.
Any idea where they went?
The hosts I've observed are not a sprightly bunch. Here are the reports I've received. They'll help you find them.
I'll go take care of them.
Good. And do be quick about it.
There's a nice way to say that.
Alright.
I'll see you later, Rhea.
Oh god, how am I gonna do this? For our ad for our good friend Alex Jones, how did he address his audience?
Alright, my fellow patriots. Have you been hearing what they've been not telling us about the town of Ordinary? Well, let me tell you. There has been a town that has completely disappeared off the map. And you will know what they found immediately later? Federal agents infesting the area, taking the children away. And do we know where we took them? No! The children just disappeared into black vans. Do we know where they went? No! We saw one little girl able to make it away. We're looking for her. Her name, Jessie Faden. If we can get her on the show, we can investigate the true evil behind this Federal Bureau of Control. And listen here, my fellow patriots. They're trying to take control of our lives. The fluoride in the water. They're turning the frogs gay, hermaphroditic. I have papers here. that are proving in government speak what they are doing. Now, I am telling you, if we find this girl, she will save America. Now, in order to help me save America, or continue to do so, I'm going to, request that you all purchase my Alex Jones brand testosterone. And let me tell you, it's made from the finest bull penis extracted from the Texas highlands. You want to get that D in ya? Get that D in ya first.
Alright. That's all you're getting, C Fusion, for 10,000 points. I'm sorry, I already began the bit before I saw that you requested me, deepfake the FBC, for that.
Dr. Underhill, if you please.
Alright, well.
They mustn't keep you very busy up there.
Fuck you, Rhea.
Do you need something?
I assume you'll be staying with us until the mold is eradicated.
Indeed. Until I find a permanent resolution to this pesky fungus business, I'll be here. Perhaps even beyond that, seeing as you are quite understaffed at the moment. Though I hardly have a say in my own comings or goings. Your oldest house won't open the exits until those hiss monstrosities are cleared out.
Glad to have you along for the ride. Will the mold be under control anytime soon?
We were barely containing it with weakly controlled burns. Just look at how it has spread after a few days of non-interference. It's beyond the threshold now. The floodgates are open.
So that's a no.
Americans.
With Darling gone, I'm putting Emily Pope in charge of the research sector. Are you okay with that?
Perfectly. You've pulled Excalibur from the stone, and now decree as you see fit, O Queen. What a true meritocracy we live in.
Glad to hear it. I had a dream. Or something like one. Darling was there. He told me something, but I can't remember what. I think he's gone.
Right.
They were fucking.
Well, he's never where one expects him to be, is he? Well, thank God. I can finally stop writing these tedious reports that I'm sure he never even took the time to glance at. If you speak to him again, can you tell him I hope he found what he was looking for. I'll try. I should be getting back to work.
I'll see you later.
I do agree that Rhea is in a very tragic spot if we consider it, given the fact that she is kind of, being held prisoner here, not due to what we want, but due to the necessity of the situation. Threshold Utility Counter Essay. Dr. Darling's recently penned essay titled Redacted in the Pants of the Redacted to Redacted City contains some glaring omissions that I feel must shine on. Firstly, the entire premise of the essay is that the quarry threshold is beneficial to the Bureau, while the mold is actively hostile. To use his words, we cannot determine the worth of these dimensions and their life forms using bureaucratic definitions. Secondly, the mold is much more beneficial than some rock. If the redacted creating the mold were reconfigured in their purpose, the structures could build would rival the greatest skyscrapers. The mold's resistance to various strains of disease we've attempted to introduce could be derived into new vaccines or medicines. Yes, admittedly, this application is more difficult than picking up a rock and gluing it to the wall, but I pause to wonder when the Bureau lost its eagerness for a challenge. So you want to know how my mold research is getting on, Casper? Here it is. Microscopic organisms similar in appearance to bacteria construct the architecture of the mold. I do not understand if these fungi are the original disseminators of the mold or are bitten by some fungal infection. The mold is the most prolific and durable organism I've ever seen. I theorize there is a mold source located somewhere on our side of the threshold, rooted here to accelerate growth in our dimension. I refer to this yet unknown source as Mold 1. The mold produces an enticing aroma to encourage human consumption of itself. It propagates in the chest cavity and quickly subsumes the entire body. Seizing control of motor functions, this behavior was not observed when I first arrived, which means the mold has adapted to our presence, targeting our biological imperatives as a way to spread. It is truly an ingenious little thing. A full report will be ready soon. Keep your slacks on. Or don't. I will say that I need to read this before I will say. Hey Rhea! How's it going down there? Enjoying the mold so far? Settling back into life at our old FBC? I also wanted to ask how your coffee with Emily went. She's a star on the rise, incredibly bright, extremely intuitive, but I want to hear what you thought of her. I think you two could be very good on a project together, could learn a lot from each other. Let's get together and chat about it soon. Anyway, sorry for the interruption. I'm sure you can't think of anything besides mold right now. You were always a woman of focus. I always admire that about you. Talk soon, Casper. Wick is riffing off of...
Finish itself.
Sir?
Perhaps it might.
Are you two okay? Rhea was, yeah, what Wick said. I will say that I think I am proud of that Alex Jones accent in spite of what, terrors that I foisted upon my lungs here. Given the fact that last time I did an Alex Jones accent, which was yesterday, I did a Hulk Hogan.
Brother, let me tell you about the Illuminati.
which I think is also somehow rougher on my voice than whatever the hell gurring I was doing. Which I think from a biomechanical standpoint is, like, quite fascinating. Streameritis. Hey there, Wellington. I'm sorry, but I gotta diagnose you with ligma there. Holy fuck, there are way too many dudes here. Okay, come there, buddy. I mean, what would be the worst, like, streamer-coded disease that one could capture inside of their own body? Would it be ligma? Would it be updog? Would it be the French rutabaga infusion? I mean, these are all things we need to consider and be very concerned about in our day-to-day life as we continue to fight for the right to party. And I will say that inhaler shot did a real nice job for me now. I am feeling great. Maybe I have asthma, and that's what happened. Living in Arizona for a year gave me asthma. Which would be really funny.
Years of living inside of a smoker cesspit did not destroy my lungs, but 1 year in a state with salty air murdered me.
Might have given me ligma. Did you look into the Vicks lollies? I'm not gonna lie, Blobber, I keep thinking about the Vicks lollies, but, like, due to the 12-hour shift, I keep forgetting to go to the store to look to them until... I'm probably not gonna be able to do it until Sunday evening, to be entirely honest. Please stop trying to get Welly to search for lollies. That is true. Lollies are redacted beings. They don't know how to make this into a joke without making me seem like a menace, so we're just going to create lolly jail and just push it into the ocean for them to figure out how to survive on their own. Yeah, I mean, I would just do, suckers. Vicks suckers. So you can get a nice suck going. Though, that would be an insincere use of language given the fact that lollipop is the preferred term that we usually see for such things here in these United States. Hello, woman.
Jesse, good to see you. We've got Dylan situated in his containment cell like you asked. I've got medical staff running tests as we speak, and I'd be happy to walk you through the details later. Other than that, what's next?
With the slide projector turned off, the hiss are shut out, but we're stuck with the ones already here. We can't lift the lockdown until they're all eradicated. If any hiss ever got out, that would be the end of everything.
Eliminating them all will take time. Look, I'll do what I can on my end, but my research is progressing slower than I'd like.
I think I can help with that. I am making you the head of research, effective immediately. I want you to use everything the Bureau has, every resource, every confidential scrap of data, and find a way to keep the hiss out for good.
That's... really? I mean, yes, I can certainly... Yes! Yes, I accept.
You'll do great. Besides, I didn't really have anyone else lined up.
I'm honored, Jesse, really. Thank you.
I'm not done with you, woman.
I've looked through the docs we found in Dimensional Research. That slide projector is extremely powerful. You were right to shut it down.
How do you feel about me taking over as director?
You act like it just happened. You've been director since we first met, remember? I am still thrilled. Nothing's changed. Not for me. But the Bureau has changed. Trench and Darling are gone. Their knowledge, anything not written down, disappeared with them. They knew the Bureau better than anyone.
They're the Bureau's past, Emily. We won't operate like they did. We'll learn from their mistakes. We'll be better than they ever were. We won't ever be like them.
You know, initially, I think when I was watching Jesse Cox play this, I might have found that to be a bit over dramatic. But there are a lot of institutional problems with the Federal Bureau of Control, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, and like the Bureau is riding on a train that is rapidly coming out of control, and they don't know how they can possibly get off without causing or seeing a disaster occur. I mean, the fact that we're seeing altered world events occur more and more and more often means that the world is unraveling at an increasing rate, and interestingly enough, that could be the consequences of the internet. I want to imagine, like, the idea that the internet had in regards to, like, the ability to kind of focus mental energies on paranatural phenomena, and how that might have impacted, like, the increased rate of, like, what's going on in the world and the issues of that. But to continue on.
When the hiss got into my head, I saw some weird things. I think Darling even spoke to me. Does that make any sense to you?
Empirically, no, but phantom voices as well as hallucinatory states are not uncommon here. And considering the forces that Dr. Darling was working with, he could have been transferred to a different plane of consciousness, physically or otherwise.
And that doesn't upset you?
Oh, very. And the fact that he hid those forces from me, it's infuriating. But Darling's dream was always to look beyond our reality. This time he may have taken a step too far, but as long as his consciousness can perceive his surroundings, I'm sure he's loving it.
Maybe Darling was just trying to protect you from the darker side of his work.
Fuck that. I'm not a child. Like, don't just assume I'm going to consider something morally repugnant.
Which it all was.
Which it all was, of course.
How was Dylan?
The same. I
Okay,
can't
so,
detect
like,
any of his activity, but his physiology is. I can't tell if his brain activity.
All right, we'll revisit this. I'm sorry, I want to revisit this. I love the writing in Remedy games. Like, these actually feel like people, like, who are mature in their positions that you normally, that we're like not seeing. Because, like, this is making me think of the whole thing about that episode of Voyager where we have, like, the moral issues of, like, using certain science, or, like, talking about certain science, whether or not it's gained by unethical means, and, like, her saying, like, fuck that, I'm not a child, I'm able to fucking deal with this, even if, like, yeah, we're not going to do that, but, or do that again, but we're like, I feel like if this were a David Cage game, which is where I'm comparing a lot of Remedy stuff too, because, like, they hit a lot of similar beats, which is fascinating. But, like, all the characters that I have seen in Remedy, even if they're goofy motherfuckers, are actually well written and kind of interesting or fun. Like, Barry might be a terrible character and a terrible person, but, like, I know the idea of Barry. I've met Barry-ish people, and I love Barry so much for it. Alright, no. They don't have the auteur energy? Yeah, because it's not written by a goddamn Philistine lizard. And there's only the one tab for gushing over magical girl strudel, which I still need to go past episode 1 on that.
How is Dylan?
The same. I can't detect any Hiss activity, but his physiology has certainly been altered by it. And I can't tell if his brain activity is genuine or simply the aftermath of the Hiss, like spasms. Dylan could wake up tomorrow for all I know. I really can't say.
Then I just have to wait for him. That's fair. He waited a long time for me.
But don't worry, we'll be monitoring him round the clock. If he wakes up, we'll be ready. I don't mean that in a hostile way, just... well, you know.
I hear you. My brother isn't exactly popular around here. I hope one day he'll have the chance to change that.
I really hope Control 2 begins with Dylan waking up and he's just a side character.
So, there was a moment after Hedron died that I couldn't feel my powers. The Hiss got into my head. Just for a moment.
Sideshow
That
Dylan.
explains the HRA outage. Before we knew what was happening, the Hiss had us. They were in my head. I saw terrible things. I mean, I was about to go under forever when the Hiss was pushed back. The HRAs had come back on. Dylan vanished afterwards, and we fought off the Hiss that came after him. So if Hedron's death knocked out the HRAs, that means there must be a new local source for them to relay, which I'm guessing must be...
me.
You. Hedron is dead, assuming that word even applies to a resonant-based life form. But whatever it awakened in you, the power you call Polaris, is still active. Or at least, that's what my instruments are telling me.
I don't think we're ever gonna understand all of this. And I'm okay with that. I'm just glad you're here with me. That's good to know. Thanks, Emily.
And that'll make sense based off of kind of what we were talking about last, at the end of the main game.
I found Dylan attacking the astral plane and the board. What was he hoping to accomplish?
Huh. Since they arrived, Hiss have been corrupting objects of power, which have an inherent link to the astral plane. Maybe their goal was to access the astral plane and the board itself.
That still doesn't tell us why.
His motives are a difficult thing to work out, but I have been digging through confidential files and noticed a strange gap in knowledge regarding the board. Looks like any data on them has either been deleted or was never gathered in the first place.
Then maybe it's time someone looked into that.
Maybe it is.
So,
Well, I've got a bureau to run. See you soon.
Yes, and
Even as a joke.
oh, I skipped over dialogue. We can't levitate here, but it's still trench in our photograph or painting still hasn't been developed up there. So I'm assuming that might be for directors who have already died.
The director shut down. No problem. It's a huge victory. Huge.
Alright, boy.
Man, I never thought I'd be working in the executive sector. Look at me now, Ma.
I do like how adorable Urish is.
So, what's next for Simon Arish?
Well, first off, I'm banning all slide projectors. That's it. Seriously, though, we need to review our protocols. Research should not be making decisions that endanger the entire Bureau, fuck it, the entire fucking world, without some serious oversight.
I think Pope would agree. Certain people in the Bureau have been working in the shadows for too long.
And I'd like to make these HRAs part of the mandatory Bureau uniform. They're not stylish, but better safe than sorry.
I don't think anyone will complain. Not after this. What are your thoughts on me serving as director?
Well, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, Trench was fine, but you pulled us back from the brink. So, well, I'm honored to serve, man. I mean, fuck, shit. Phaeton. Sorry.
He'll get it one day. So, what's the situation in my bureau, Arish?
The situation is we are still up to our eyes in Hiss. Not to mention the months of repairs it's gonna take just to get this place up and running again.
But is it doable?
Of course it is. You just might need to tell some rangers to grab a wrench once they're done hunting Hiss.
Did anyone ever mention to you that Darling was using the slide projector?
Salvador never did, but I doubt he even knew. Look, I'm well aware that it's our job to study and contain the things that we don't understand, but some of the things that Darling did were way outside of our mission statement. Look, these things are not toys, and acting like they are is only ever gonna end one way. At least Pope seems to understand that.
Well, it's secure now. No one can reach it without my say-so.
But thank Christ for that.
Marshall's been missing for a while now. Any ideas where she could be?
The last time I saw her was in maintenance when I was leading the Rangers out of the Atlas. Yeah, I told her it wasn't safe, but she said she had to go check on something.
Did you ask where she was going?
Marshall is not the kind of person you question. Kind of intimidating, you know? But, she was by herself, if that helps at all.
Not really, but thanks. Hopefully she turns up.
Alrighty.
I'll see you later.
You know where I'll be.
And we finally have enough upgrade points where I can do this one, which the most important part of that is our powers, repower, for lack of a better term, while we are in the middle of attacking other enemies. So, that's positive. I want to see if there are any other weapon forms that might be ideal while we're fighting with, our good doctor man. Penetrate armor and enemies at any range. I like the idea of penetration. I think that's a really pog thing. Especially since it lets us get within, like, reach of our Darren Do villain here. Yeah, I don't think there is anything else we want to do, so we'll give the Piercer a try here in place of Grip. Yeah. I think we'll just do plain damage up, since that seems like it'd be really helpful. We might end up doing that for our other thing as well, but we'll give another attempt to the Dr. Hartman boss now that we have other upgrades here, and we'll see how it goes. Bright Falls AWE. But honestly, the... Oh, wow. That does a hell of a lot of damage. So honestly, like, since I kind of regard Remedy as like the gold standard of kind of art house video game developers. I don't know, like, what lessons we can kind of take from them. Normally I just go with kind of my generic thing of, like, I like it when... Okay, I was shielded from that one game. That's, a bunch of horse, shit. But, like... I think in the end for me it always boils down to a level of experimentation that I'm always enamored with, because they're willing to try things that might be a bad idea. Like boss design. Alright, I don't think Pierce is going to do what I want to do. Never getting survival tactics. Listen, Jesse was in a mental institution, not in the Marines before this. There's like certain levels of goofiness we can forgive here. I mean, you try teaching yourself, like, Resident Evil survival while you're, what do you call it? On the farm down there in Oklahoma trying to fight the revenuers. I don't know why I'm giving the Canadian accent when talking about fighting tax officials here, but you know, there are weirder things that I've done. Yeah, we should probably do a stream where we just pretend that we're Canadian and just speak in this accent the entire time and see how long until my patience wears out, my voice wears out, or I just turn into another accent, because if you're listening there, I almost became Scottish. Or fake Scottish. And I think the reason with my voice failing like that is why I refuse to believe that language is real. So, does anyone know anything about, Undertale, or whatever the hell the new Kojima game is called? Death Stranding 2? Like, is it actually more than a walking simulator? Because, like, the intrusive thoughts are on their way to winning with me in regards to playing it, and I'm not sure that's a good idea. But because it's my beloved husbando of Kojima, I kind of have to, like, fight against my better nature and logic here to be willing to better able to relate to my boy. Like, what if there's, like, some Xi Jinping lore that we're not seeing in the new Death Stranding game, where, like, I don't know, he's, like, making out with, like, what's, like, a famed furry character, since we're kind of in the theme park? Xi Jinping is actually, like, a persona of Winnie the Pooh, which is the reason why he cracked down on protesters so hard regarding it. Or the, you know, just, CCP Politburo did. But we're going to attribute it to the executive for the purposes of at least being a pill. Alright, what broke? And, like, kind of in that vein... Oh god. You can't just drop so many bombs at once? I don't know, Wick. Like, I'm like a failed streamer, so like I have no impulse control. Next thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna get cancelled because I talked about I don't know how why do streamers get cancelled for reasons that are reasonable these days? And by reasonable I mean not gross crimes against people. I don't know, talking about why like Star Wars is bad. Seems like a reason for that to happen. I don't think you should ship Princess Leia with, Chewbacca. That just seems really bad. Like, you know... I don't know why I'm giving that accent to this guy when I'm actually, like, internally I agree with that kind of concept. Like, the random shipping we're seeing in, like, just reality here is just horrifying. Like, it's just a race to the bottom. No, but like, I do kind of want to get back to the point I was thinking about, where like, one of my favorite clips we have here is me philosophizing about the idea that, the next hit plot in a Kojima game is actually going to be that, Winnie the Pooh is Xi Jinping's persona, and I just want to build upon that. Like, where else can we take this? Like, is he in the Omegaverse? I'm not sure what the Omegaverse is, but it sounds like it'd be appropriate to reference in regards to this topic. Like, Xi Jinping, a character in the Omegaverse, fanfic aisle of, I don't know, like, Tesco's? These are all questions we really need to ask in order to understand, like, the youth of today and, like, what drives them. How do we understand these kids? Do I have to say it? He's actually a cultivator honey bear who's ascended to gain human form and sentience. See, this is exactly the kind of lore building I'm looking for, Wick. Really? That's completely reasonable that I was hit through that, and I shouldn't be mad at all, but at the same time, I will still be mad. I need to learn the power of Q, which is more than enough to deal with that, which is actually kind of funny. We're all in the Wuxia story. This is why Brelix plays them so much. We understand now. Brelix's power level is directly proportional to his like understanding of reality. Everything is Brelix. There was actually a Royal Road story that I enjoyed quite thoroughly. Well, as much as you can for a Royal Road story. But I found the concept quite neat. It was basically like, dude was isekai'd into, well, I guess it's just an isekai. Alternate universe where like he is like, it's a cultivator story where his family is like the what do you call it? The master of an empire of like Incan energy people. And basically as yeah, I think basically it was a story of a New World society using modern tech, or slowly growing into being able to use modern tech to fight off, like, not European colonizers. And I thought it was quite fun. the author perpetually has like 8-month hiatuses, 1-year hiatuses, which I would be bitter about if that would not be hypocritical for me, for no particular reason. I've never gone on a month-long hiatus for no reason that I've announced to people. No. What kind of monster would ever do that? Oh. That is really interesting. I didn't know he could do that in Phase 1. And the reason why that's relevant here is that it's a wuxia story such that like the supernatural powers people have are like cultivation based, and like the Western powers stand-in, one of the reasons that they have kind of a weird sort of technological advantage is that they don't have like magic available to them in kind of the same way that China does. And one of the fun ways that China was, or not China, was affected in it was that they had the Emperor character be an immortal character that is actually just fully controlled by the unit class due to the fact that the immortality cost leaves him basically impotent. Okay, that time I was definitely behind a barrier. Now let's make it a Jiangxia story where he's a hyperspace cultivator who ascended multiple dimensions to reach ours, and he's gained leadership of China. It's just one step from transdimensional fight against Redacted. Alright, I kind of like it. I like it. Alright, there's the cough. Though I do think, in a sense, that's actually just the plot of, like, Fable 3, right? Where, like, it ends up being that, like, Fable 3, your brother's not the bad guy, but, like, just kind of, like, a misguided dude who might have done terrible things, but, like, he was doing it for the greater good. Which, in part, is why, like, you should never, tolerate kind of greater good excuses for why people do terrible things, but, eh. Alright, calm down, Hartman, my boy. So I can't even damage you right now, which makes sense. So he still has that attack available to him. Alright, so he's about to do his super special ability. Fuck. So I think what we need to do is, in reality, is not kind of focus on avoiding Hartman. We need to bait Hartman into utilizing his, like, regular abilities in order to fight us. Because that seems to not be affectatious to him in regards to, like, his, other stuff. Alright, so given the fact that we learned that, I'm willing to give it one more try before I baby rage again and we go to something else. In order to maintain my sanity. I am kind of surprised that, Nope, that's, my bad. I am kind of surprised that they made Dr. Hartman the bad guy for this DLC. I suppose in, like, a kind of, like, sense of the character, there is no one else they really could have used. Given the fact that everybody else in Alan Wake is either a good guy or just regular dead. I think if there were anything I would spend my upgrade points on here, it would be evade for this battle. Or to improve our shield capability. Since I kind of built Jesse as a bit of a twink here, or a glass cannon is the regular person way to say it. But yeah, I think luring Hartman in to kind of grapple us is like the kind of idea we want to go for here, because that distracts his moveset, for lack of a better term. Though, like, I'm not sure if this is the Dark Souls thing, where basically, like, you want to move your character... Oh, that's horseshit. I was out of the way of that, you bastard. Where basically you want to move your character in a certain manner such that, like, you elicit a response from a bad guy. I will say, I was thinking about doing a crowd control during the week I have off, as part of, like, our quote-unquote regularly scheduled content. And I was wondering if there are any games that people were more interested in than others to see me bring great shame upon my dynasty on over others. I allegedly have a Dark Souls one that I have already kind of queued up, but I don't think I'll do that. Because I don't have that much time to do a Dark Souls crowd control. Plus, I have the distinct feeling that I'd hate myself after engaging in that activity. Though I really need to take a look at what other games are, what do you call it? Crowd controllable these days. Since I know there is, like, a level of kind of, not differentiation, but like, there's been a lot of stuff added in the intervening time since I last did one. Which adds a bit more fun into the affair. Though I do think I would like to do the Hoi one I had the idea for during this period. I would have done it today if I did not have work tomorrow. Because I think there is something very amusing about playing, like, the historical bad guy of the Second World War in, like, Freedom Day. I was actually going to do it on June 22nd because of the anniversary of Barbarossa, but I was decidedly dead or at work that day. You know, programming conversation aside, I will say I do really appreciate this battle in the sense that it is kind of teaching me, or forcing me to get good in regards to how to play the game. Because, like, I feel a lot of battles in Control you can kind of get away with by just being okay at them mechanically without, like, kind of figuring out how to exploit things to how you need. For example, I nowhere near use dodge or shield enough when it comes to fighting enemies because I just have the habit of hiding behind just physical barriers in the world. And, like, I guess that in the end is why, I guess, people like Dark Soul bosses, or like Dark Souls in general, because, like, it not only forces you not to be coddled, but also for you to understand the game. And I kind of think, like, that desire for understanding is something, like, a lot of video game people really crave. It's like Brondo, what plants crave. Hell yeah. Had to just lock in, as the kids say, and
Hartman
go
won't
from
be
there.
A problem anymore, Langston. But investigations need someone to run it. Interested?
I've seen what happens to sector heads, ma'am. No, thank you.
Thank you, Fish.
I'm getting something on my terminal here, an AWE alert from Bright Falls, Washington. But it might be a glitch. The date's all wrong, a couple of years in the future. And we're in lockdown, there shouldn't be any incoming signals.
Maybe it was active before we went into lockdown? Are there agents on site?
Let me check. Agent Estevez is the field agent in charge of monitoring the site, so she should be there to let us know if the situation has been through any major changes.
Yeah.
Things set in motion. If the alarm's true, then so is the reason for the alarm. The effect must follow the cause. It's happening again. I'll return.
So if that image is correct, there are two doors in the Ocean View Hotel that are related to Alan Wake. The spiral door is where Alan is currently, and the kind of like multi-layered doors are potentially, quote unquote, for where Alan is coming from. We did get one kind of hotline message from Alan that we didn't take a look at, which is this one.
The story needed many beginnings, many springs, streams that turned into a river, a flood, and then an ocean. This was one. Wake used the materials he had, the connections he had, the people, the places. Wake put them in to make it true. His wife, the psychiatrist, his city. These connections, like magnets, move things. Alice was a conduit. She'd been in the dark place. The thing that had been Hartman sensed her near, sensed Wake through her. Went berserk. Broke loose. Wake made sure Alice was already gone by then. Safe. The more springs, the more the story became real. The more people believed. Cause and effect. It was extremely delicate and hard work. It had to go through the path of least resistance where success was most likely. Where there was a connection already. Wake felt the pressure grow in his head. Going mad. Wake had to escape. Right. His escape. He was already out. He wanted to make it true. Wake needed a hero. A hero needed a crisis. For the part in the story about the government agency, Wake needed something special, something to convey an alien force mimicking human intelligence. Something that can't be translated. Translated. Wake channeled Burroughs and Bowie. He cut up sentences and words. Orange peel. You are home. Insane. He put them in a shoebox. He pulled out the words. Wake created a Dadaist poem. He'd try anything once. Or had he tried this before?
I do appreciate Alan desperately gasping at anything he can possibly get his hold on in order to get back to his family and his wife. Well, I guess his family is just his wife because they have no child. But I feel for the dude. He is an egotistical asshole, but like I feel that he is personable enough that we should care about.
This must be where they studied Hartman.
Blows up or not.
Kinda looks like Dylan's cell. I wonder if they treated him as badly.
Dylan's cell was larger. Much larger. And I would, like, quibble on that wick, but I have never used a... Oh dear. I've never used a typewriter before, so, to be entirely honest, I can't comment on whether or not that's unhinged or not. I just wanted to get lore. You can't throw me into a battle immediately after a boss battle. That's illegal. Oh, I wish the game thought that was true. I mean, so long as your gross words per minute is, like, 60 or above, I think you're not competitive, but you're not, you know, in Oblivion. Wake evidence. A photograph of Alan Wake captured by Alice Wake during an event in her home. Alice Wake, former wife of Alan Wake, CAWE 35, has recently visited at night by her ex-husband or entity resembling him, see file redacted. Being a professional photographer, Mrs. Wake positioned cameras with motion sensors around the corridor he appeared in, and managed to capture an image of Mr. Wake on film. During an interview with Mrs. Wake, she mentioned that her favorite camera, a redacted model, was lost in 2010 during AWE 35. No match has been found among the confiscated evidence from AWE 35. It has been filed as a potential altered item, and research staff stationed at Bright Falls are being contacted to check if they have any knowledge of such item. My words are gross, is that enough? I mean, if you're an Oyaji, that's enough. I mean, I would say this in the Oyaji-friendly chat, but I'd be lying. You know, good old-fashioned Alan Wake tweaking out to oblivion. Ugh. Trying to see if there's anything else here I want to take a gander at before we mosey back on out of here. And I think we got everything we wanted to get. Which is cool. And we've also liberated the sector of the Bureau. Oh, I lied. Oh no. The director steps closer to the horrible entity. He reaches out with a steady hand. You're mine now, creature. I will return you to my facility and control your power. Sir, we don't know. The entity instead rushed forward and engulfs the director. He screams in pain as the scientist looks on and does nothing, like the coward that he is. I am not the one being examined. I am not the one locked inside a prison. Gradually, the director emerges from the entity, his once sparkling eyes now empty and dull. The scientist rushes to him. Sir, we have to escape. We cannot. They are in control now. I got what I wanted. The scientist turns from what used to be his director, now transformed into a stranger, an alien that only resembled the director in form. He drops an all-important clipboard as he stumbles towards the closing portal, but the horrible entity is already rushing through it in a flow of insanity and chaos. The scientist becomes caught in it, and the entity devours him, screaming as it enters our world. The director lifts his pistol to his head. His hand is steady, sure in its finality. Or so I thought. Camera fades to black. Gunshot is heard. And so our hunger for control, our obsession for domination power, the hubris at play in this children's puppet show we're starring in can only lead to our fall from control, to submit to those who really hold the strings and control us in Night Springs. So, I don't know how to feel about that, if I'm entirely honest, because it's kind of intimating that Alan Wake had the ability to, if not control reality, kind of influence or comprehend it at an uncomfortable level previously. That would summon an agent to us, which might have actually been helpful, but you know. Bright Falls, Washington. I remember this place dearly. That's the old lodge. That makes me sad. Alrighty, we'll fast travel to the maintenance sector. Foundation. And take a gander at what is beginning there. I've taken my melatonin, so I'm beginning to fade fast.
Quiet. Trans-dimensional.
Of course, they took us into the World Tree roots.
So that etching is the door. Okay, let's try opening it.
Red sand. That's slideshow 36.
The board said this was an emergency. Looks like no one's been down here in a while.
Honestly, kind of the nonchalant nature that Jesse has towards things, I do find really funny, given the fact that everyone's dead.
Crystals are kind of pretty. Emily would be having a field day down here.
My life's been a strange one. Certainly stranger than I'd like. But this place, it's something else. The floors crawl, the walls slither. It's a
What's that light?
On the street, it's just another drab building standing there for anyone to see. But no one does. How do we miss it? Northmore. Acting director Northmore now is on a train from Washington. He'll expect answers, which is why I'm making these tapes. They're evidence that I'm at least trying to understand. Father searched his entire life for something like this, and we find it 1 week after he's buried. He always hated irony. Of course, Father, the great director, Ash, would have been the first man in. And look at me, his bookworm son, the supposed head of research who can't stop his legs from shaking long enough to step over the threshold.
I'm curious if the Ash Act is in reference to him or his father. So, based off of that one recording, I'm going to assume the entire lore of this chapter is going to be related.
Bottom of the oldest house. Stop the hissing.
Marshall? How is she on the hotline? Unless
The
she's dead.
concept of legacy.
She seemed like the kind of woman who could survive anything.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed that they just killed Marshall. To be entirely honest here.
I only heard of the Foundation when I became head of operations. The very bottom of the oldest house. Director access only. Just the name alone is classified. Zachariah gave me a tour the day I was promoted. Said I should see it for myself. To understand. After that, I snuck down on my own from time to time to keep tabs on the place. And on them. But nothing ever changed down there. Not even the walls. It's solid, permanent, different from the rest of the house. Of course, they were always watching me. I never stayed long. I'm not stupid. I have to stop the Hiss from finding this place. I'm the only one who can.
Okay. I mean, I feel there are better ways of stopping the Hiss from locating the Foundation than going to the Foundation. Because I have the distinct feeling that the Hiss operate by kind of like triangulation on psychic potential, which... Seeing that she failed in her task, I am going to assume that it might have been better not to come here. Also, I agree. He never understood what irony meant. I'm not sure I know what irony means based off of how we're doing that. Though, to be not... Oh, that's bright. Not a pill on my own end. That's kind of like cosmic irony, I think, which is like something goofy happens in regards to... how do you say it? The universal perspective? Though I do suppose the idea of writing something and not having a full grasp on irony is actually kind of funny. Because, like, what is, like, the minimum level of understanding of, like, the English language or, you know, whatever English language you're working with that one should have before they begin attempting to write, like, a story or something like that? Because, like, I feel like when you are writing, there are certain allowances kind of built in there for you to use ghetto English or something like that that is, like, not proper. Because, like, we don't rot in the Queen's English. Okay, well, that is a understandable call-out. I would like to point out that my immortal is barely real. Because, like, isn't that just thinly veiled pornography? And, you know, I'm not gonna disparage anyone for their,
We're using pickaxes now.
I don't want to see pornography preferences because I will criticize you heavily on it. But thinly veiled? Because some people just need to read smut. That is... my immortal is a Twilight one, right? Please be a Twilight one, because as I'm thinking about this, I'm deeply concerned that it's actually a Harry Potter one. Ugh, fanfickers. Truly, truly insane. Relocation order. Tom! You missed the good news! I'm sure the official memo will go out soon, but Northmore called an all-hands at the crossroads to announce that we're finally moving out of this hellhole up to the house proper. Bureau Brass apparently solved the moving wall problem, or at least figured out a way to pinpoint where and when it'll happen. All I know is going up means goodbye darkness, goodbye weird lunches with that weird with... All I know is going up means goodbye darkness, goodbye weird lunches with that weird ex-Nazi scientist, and goodbye pissing into the pit. I know that was you, Barry. Okay, 50's voice, currently banned. Northmore's ordering the Foundation sealed as soon as we can haul our stuff out and somehow convince Ash to come with us. He's the only one kicking up a fuss. This is long overdue. We've lost 11 men and damn near $10,000 in supplies moving between the entrance and the Foundation. And for what? Research? Ash is batty if he thinks we want to stay here and sift through more sand for him. It's just rusted iron flakes anyway. Did you know that? We're breathing in that shit. I wish you lived in a world where the porn actors were required by law to speak in Victorian age English. Are you sure about that, Wick? I want you to deeply consider the kind of translated abominations that come in for kind of that, like, goofiness. Like, who's a pornographer? Daniel Hardman? That sounds like a pornographer's name. Just Daniel Hardman going, I don't know how to make a fake accent for the purposes of this joke, so... have some attraction? I don't know. I think the Victorian affectations and voice would probably be pretty, suboptimal. Because imagine just going, like, the beginning of, like... It's like, you know, the 70s porn video meme is just like... And, like, other smooth jazz sorts of things happening, and then suddenly, like, hey, babe, I heard you like sausage on your pizza.
Into our dimension. What if this happens in the upper floors? It'll destroy the Bureau.
Yeah, those are like the goofy soldiers. So this kind of worries me now that I think about it, that there might be something significant about the fact that the, what do you call it? The... Aw, fuck. That the Bureau has, era... What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to talk about is that the red sands have me a bit triggered here in regards to...
I wish I'd brought Emily with me. I could really use my head of research right about now.
No, you don't, my friend. Emily would die, like, immediately. The...
Marshall? Marshall! You're alive! Wait! It's Jesse! The director!
Oh, God. Sleep is taking me soon to the gates of oblivion. What I'm trying to say is the Bureau has a thing where we have the red sands present in the Slidescape 36. And I'm wondering if not in part, the astral plane not only touches all places in space, but all places in time. Since if I recall correctly, the kind of understanding of the time element of, like, our reality is that as we move about upon a 3D plane, time is effectively like snapshotting each kind of demarcation of the plane and like moving forward. So I think that is why time travel is logically able to be used as kind of a mechanism and stuff, is because, you know, you're just moving from snapshot to snapshot like you would if you're scrubbing a VOD or a YouTube video.
Marshall? Can you hear me?
She was on the hotline, so that person couldn't have been Marshall, right? One problem at a time. Let's see what's going on with that pillar first.
Oh hell no, we're gonna look at the office here that hasn't aged since the 50s. And the thing about Control is it does make you very uncomfortable regarding the issues in sticky note design and implementation.
It's been 5 days since we first entered the building. Traversing the interior is dangerous due to the shifting, but we did manage to find a lower cavern that seems structurally predictable, which is a scientific way of saying its walls won't crush us in our sleep. Northmore even made a discovery. A pistol placed on a stone pedestal in front of that strange ebony pillar. Seems like something out of a storybook, except the heroes usually find swords, not handguns. But it is the perfect lure for someone like him. Hours after finding this weapon, Northmore cornered me to spout some nonsense about how the board had made him the director. He ranted about the title being meaningless before now, calling Father and all other previous directors shams, frauds, and worse. I think this place is worse for Northmore than it is for me. Strangest thing? There was no pedestal in front of that pillar a day ago. This building has swallowed a dozen of my men, and now it's handing out presents? Is it playing some sort of game? If it is, we're most certainly losing. Hell, we don't even know the rules.
So, I think Northmore might have been the beginning of the elements of the Bureau that nail door monolith is hurt, touch, revere it, enter. Repair the nail link to prevent astral consumption collision. This is the director's duty plot. Authorized for single new tool upgrade. Use it to save Foundation Us Bureau. Left. Only one is permitted.
So I can only choose one? I thought I was done with these tests.
Shape manipulate. Fracture undo. So both have their value. What is it? Idle, Oddle, Black Bottle, Idle, Oddle, Snack. I choose the one that doesn't bite back. We are tweaking, cultivating the ability U. I just like the idea that the board just says, we are tweaking. You feel honored, handled. I mean, we know why the Bureau is giving it, or the board is giving it to us, because there's something going critically wrong, and presumably, if we don't have some level of this power, we will not be able to do what it needs to do. And, like, the reason why it doesn't want us to use this is, like, it seems like the dismantle, loosen the four locks, keys, MacGuffins, located in the fringe nowhere of the astral plane. Astral bleeding collision has spread, lost them. Do this and the nail will be glued, repaired, crisis averted. PS bonus round here, presence of the Foundation. Snooping is forbidden. I think I kind of the board is basically trying to, I don't want to say edge, but basically limit the amount of power / resources it gives to us such that it can basically control / influence, or, you know, give us only barely what we need in order to get through here, because I am going to guess, like, if we're able to get to the pyramid itself, something quite dangerous for the board would happen, which is kind of an interesting concept. It's like a thing that you see a lot of times in reality or history where, like...
Okay, let's review. This broken pillar is called the Nail. It was broken by something, and now the astral plane is bleeding into the Foundation, which will destroy the oldest house, the Bureau, and everyone inside. I need to find 4 locks, or keys, or whatever, to stop that from happening. But I'm the director. I've handled worse. This should be simple-ish. You with me?
Is Polaris even still talking to you, Jesse? That's kind of worrying given the fact that we've established that she's dead. Alright, Foundation Pillar. On the nature of the pillar. Found in the crossroads is best described as an onyx spike that protrudes from the cave floor like an imposing stalagmite. Despite the aggressive silhouette, the structure has an undeniable allure. Freud would certainly have something to say about the pillar's overly erect nature, but I'm more drawn to Whitmore's essay on dynamic layers, structures within the structures, the fractal mirror in every being. Given its significant location, I believe the pillar is either the very heart of the oldest house, or an intrusion within that heart. Or perhaps it is like a husk of a seed from which the oldest house sprouted. Trottier wrote, the greatest architecture isn't built, it grows. But then why does the pillar look so different from the rest of this place's concrete walls and rocky caverns? It's easier to see it an anomaly, a buried artifact, a foreign body, a demonic phallus. I wonder if this pillar is any more welcome here than we are. Ley line, which is an oldie but a goodie. For all my research into the oldest house ley lines, I still don't understand why they converge here at the base of this pillar. I suppose the simplest reason is that they have to converge somewhere, Occam's razor and all that, but that seems wrong. The esoteric world abhors coincidence. So, what is the true relationship of this pillar and the ley lines? Does it act as a magnet, attracting them, North Pole? Or is the product of their focused energies a sprout nourished by the constant flow of the oldest house's power? Perhaps classifying that power would provide some insight, however, we currently have no means of measuring or quantifying it. Given time, it may become possible to collect and even harness the energy. On that note, Northmore is bringing in the much-lauded Dr. Gustav Wagner from headquarters in DC to aid my research. I suppose it is his way of saying he doesn't trust me to work unsupervised. Let's just hope Dr. Wagner is as smart as his dearly departed Fuhrer once believed him to be. That does kind of beg the question, since the Nazis were big believers in the occult. In this timeline, like, Nazi fucking bullshit scientists actually would have been not useless, which is a horrifying thought to consider that they'd be on Operation Paperclip. Yeah, that certainly makes me uncomfortable. Well, that terrifying thought aside, it looks like this area is going to be largely exploration-based, which I'm happy about. I don't think it'll be as long as the other DLC. So, if next stream is not a short stream, I will need to consider what we're going to do. We're probably just going to transition directly into Alan Wake 2, given the kind of progression we're going here. Which means I'll have to finally capitulate and download the Epic Games Launcher. Alas. Thank you for reminding me how to melee. Because I actually completely forgot how to do that. The things we do for love. True that. I'm still bitter at the fact that Alan Wake is only a Epic Games Store exclusive. I get it, how we got to there, but it still makes me grumpy. And that is a concrete tower. We need 4 locks. But, we just crested over 4 hours here, so I think that is, probably good enough for today. Had a bit of a longer one on the weekend here. And I didn't lose my ish as much as I expected to, so that is a great success in double digits. We'll raid into Blobber today. And as always, thank you all for joining. I hope everybody has a wonderful morning, noon, or night, and I will see you next time.